I just got a PlayStation and I want to platinum every game I own. And today, I'm platinuming Released in April of 2026 by Fumi Games, this game has 35 trophies. There's 7 trophies for beating the game, 9 for doing specific kill challenges, 12 for collectibles, and 6 for those strange miscellaneous challenges. All of those for the coveted platinum. But let's not worry about those for now, we need to jump right into the story. We're welcome with a shot of the office and the title floating on top. You just know we're in for a good time. Now Dave, I haven't played with a controller in like 17 years? I'm not good at this anymore and I'm worried about literally not being able to play the game because I'm no good on the joysticks anymore. I can use a keyboard and mouse, but I'm gonna try and thug it out with a controller for now. So I went with the easiest difficulty, or else I would have gone a lot higher. Don't worry, I changed the difficulty later on. We start out in an elevator and, looking at a pretty cheesy door, our guy is chasing down some criminal and he's way ahead of us. The personality of this game immediately jumps out with the health bar, design of all of the furniture, and later on, the guns. Unlike IGN, I'm not stupid. This game is amazing. We're welcomed with a lot of tutorial pictures and I'm just getting the feeling of playing with a controller. There's also a lot of collectibles in this game and there's no way to replay missions. So I'm scared of missing them so I don't have to replay the entire game for them. I then run up the stairs, climb a ladder, and land on a far below platform, making sure to really destroy my knees and experience how life is like for those 30 years old and up. I then acquire my first collectible and this is when my recording software messes up and pauses. I didn't notice till later on, but I did kill some enemies, pushed through a casino and gambled. Worry not, there's no actual way to win. It's all pre-programmed and repeating the same outcomes. I then learned lockpicking, which you'll see very soon, and I found the first collectible. A really cool comic book and event system. I then opened a door and saved here. Now, you're caught up. I promise you. Didn't miss anything. Now actually recording, I pushed out from the safe room and did a little bit of fighting and pushing forward. Working through some rooms, and when I opened this door and saw the mouse we were trying to go down an elevator, instead of following, I went up the stairs to get a comic book collectible. Also, here's the first one I got. It's the cover to the comic book. I'm absolutely loving everything about the collectibles so far. Then I went downstairs, traveled forward for a bit till I found this safe in the corner of the room. I didn't realize that I had a limited amount of moves or a timer, so I was trying to figure out how to reach the end. Once I did, I ran out of time and the safe jammed. I then reloaded the last checkpoint and did it perfectly this time. I think this is actually the first game ever where I love the lockpicking mechanics. It's more of a fun mini game than spamming left, right to, see where the point is to unlock the lock. Anyways, the schematic is used for upgrading weapons later on. Very good thing I got this. Once I made it to this open area, we were finally able to chat with the big bad mouse. He doesn't believe I'm going to stop him, but I am John Mouse PI, so obviously he's doomed. A couple of enemies spawn in and I try to go for the trophy for killing 5 enemies in 10 seconds. But this pistol isn't too good and my aiming is too slow. Once everyone was dead and I looted the place, I went into this cage area, got into a cutscene, and somehow the bad boss rigged it to fall, having me plummet into the cloud-filled city below. It's not shown how Jack Pepper, our character, survived the fall, but somehow he did. We're then shown an animation of the city, a charming 20s looking place with amazing rubber hose animation. Also shout out to Steampunk Willie here for not being copyrighted anymore. Jack Pepper then talks about how he's down and things aren't looking good for his ego. He's sad about failing the job and that he has a teammate who checks out possible stories and missions for us. If they're good and real, she hears about it first from anyone else and we get the missions that way. The biggest thing with this game, the fact you can't replay missions or levels, you have to constantly be searching everywhere and making sure you never miss a side mission. That's my goal for this, to do absolutely everything. We then wake up in this alleyway and head to our partner. Wanda over here has a mission for us, the Vanishing Act. Something about a magician vanishing during his act, but not the kind of vanishing that the magician normally does. No, our boy over here has actually disappeared, and now there's cops setting up the scene inside. She gives us her ID, as apparently the cop right here is intellectually innocent. Poor man actually doesn't know that we're not Wanda. Or a girl for that matter. Once I go inside, I turn around and found this newspaper collectible here. There's 3 separate collectible categories for us, which doesn't include the schematics, but I also need those for some upgrading trophies. There's 38 newspapers, 41 cards, and 29 comics. Hopefully, shouldn't be too hard to find them all. After that, I went through the vent, opened up the curtains, and grabbed this key inside of this tank. I then went into the seating area and found this awesome comic strip next to the cop. Because I grabbed the key, I returned to the room that was locked when I first entered and and was able to enter it now, getting this clue inside of the desk and then taking a picture of the poster on the wall. Yes, this game is a huge gun and run like Doom, but it's still a PI game and we do actually have to solve mysteries. I then continued forward through the building, fighting 2 enemies right here and running up the stairs where they came from. I got our first baseball card, then basically being done in this place once I got the key to the next area. We returned outside where Wanda gave us the mission and now to move forward. More bad guys spawned in and I took them down with ease. Once inside of the apartment complex, once I went up the stairs, I broke this window, snuck into the apartment next door and went inside. Looks like an illegal cheese operation was going on in here. And on the stool by the door, our second baseball card. A little bit more through the apartment complex, I got introduced to explosive barrels. Only these for a trophy to kill some people, but inside of this bathroom, I got a key. Going back to the beginning of this place, unlocking this door, I got our second schematic. Making it to this room, I shot down the anvil and had our first funny kill. Making my way outside, we finally had a pretty big wave of enemies. I kicked this barrel at these guys, getting our first 2 kills with explosive barrels. Going to focus on this till I get that trophy. So out here on the street, there was more barrels and more enemies, so I just did that. Once I ran out of barrels, I got to shooting. And then on this bench down here, I found our 4th comic. I then had to travel through the subway, which I thought these were enemies. Turns out they're not. The subway was actually filled with characters and was pretty silly. People getting mad at me for moving past them, and I just continued till I made it to this door. I found this stash, and then next to this typewriter, our 3rd schematic. I then fought more enemies in this area, getting like 1 more explosive kill, then worked my way forward to this next subway station. This is where I unlocked our first trophy, Gouda, or killing 5 enemies in 10 seconds. Finally got that off my mind. Once everyone was dead, I went into the train and went out the left side to this safe. Cracking it open gave me our 4th schematic, and then walking back over to the bathroom and seeing this dude, I found our 5th schematic on the table. He also told me there's baddies going upstairs. Not sure how my girlfriend is in this game. About 3 minutes after that first trophy, I went upstairs and saw some explosive barrels. I kind of wasted the first one, but wanted to kill these 3 with the next barrel. I then threw it, shot it, and all 3 died instantly. Without even knowing this was a trophy, I unlocked our second one, Holy Trinity, for killing 3 enemies with 1 shot. Really shocked me here. Moving forward, we make it to Betty's apartment. A girl who is kind of a stalker and madly in love with a magician who disappeared. Very interesting closet here. So before talking to her, I looted her apartment, then found our second newspaper on her counter. Speaking to the half girl, I don't know what to call this situation, but she talks about the magician and who would want him gone. It sounds like literally everyone hates him, and he owes money to a lot of people. So maybe he disappeared to hide from the gangs. We need to talk to Wanda again about all of the clues we've been gathering, and I went outside to get to my car when more silly goobers wanted to attack me. We're now back at the very beginning of the mission, and I went to my car. This new area, I believe we can just call this the general hub of the game. After each mission, we'll return here. There's a lot to explore, but I started with the little and big bar. I went into the kitchen, lockpicked this door, and went down into the basement to find the first of 10 figurines. They're a secret collectible, but very shockingly, there's no trophy for collecting them all. However, I'll still keep an eye out for them. Next, I went to the shop, and you can actually buy collectibles here. I believe some can only be attained by buying them, like these 8 baseball cards, which cost about, $6,000 to get them all. Luckily, you can get these at any point, so I'll just do that later. I'd rather use my money on more important stuff right now. I talked to Wanda and told her everything I found out at the place. Turns out, there's a guy who works with a magician who might know what happened to him. He's a stage designer at the Opera House. I then went to my office and explored around a bit. Really cool thing for the figurines, each one I find will be displayed on the shelf right here. And then going to my dresser, I found our 3rd baseball card. This chalkboard right here is also where we put all of the clues that we collect across every single mission that we do. Each clue I find can be placed down and maybe linked together to give us a lead. If I can find a lead, I have a new mission to go towards to hopefully solve the current mission. With that stage designer clue, I now need to head back to my car to head to the Opera House, which, doing that, this is also an amazing touch to me. You actually get to drive your car around in this overview of the city. Absolutely loved it, and it looks like there's a lot of places we can go. but I just went to the Opera House instead. Don't want to mess up anything. Upon entering the place, I jumped onto the trash can here and went on top of the vents to find our 6th schematic. Talking to the worker, lucky for us, the stage designer is here. I then entered the building and found our 3rd newspaper right here on the table. This is also the moment I realized I missed the side mission. Again, you cannot replay any missions or anything in this game. It is a one and done kind of game. If you miss a side mission, you're out of luck and you'll have to replay the entire game for that side side mission trophy. There's 14 in total, and I reloaded my save back at the PI office. Luckily, the save actually worked, barely. For some reason, it saved me right outside of the Opera House. So I returned to the PI office, talked to Tammy Tumbler. Her side mission is that she wants a picture of the hot celebs at the Opera House. Now I can go to the Opera House and not miss anything important. I then recollected everything and collected all of the money in the kitchen. Looking at these double doors, I'm pretty sure this is just for a clue, not for Tammy's mission, but I got a picture of some people and the guards reminded me of a very specific German group from the late 1930s to early 1940s. Thought it was interesting. I then went into this vent, broke it because of my large voluptuous butt, and talked to the worker right here. I don't know if I missed something important by talking to him first, but I didn't think he would immediately progress me forward in the level if I paid him $30, but I didn't want to accidentally lose this option with him if I refused. I remembered there was a ladder back in the vent, but I didn't take it. So after paying the worker though, I made it to the balcony where the stage designer is, the guy who knows the magician. Instead of giving clues, he tells me he'll talk once we leave this spot. The goons who tied him up might come back soon, and they're planning an assassination attempt on the mayoral candidate. I now need to prevent that and make it to the stage to stop that cannon that our buddy right here made. Somehow, he didn't realize that this would be used to kill someone. Lockpicking the door here, which, funny enough, I just realized our guy is using his tail to lockpick these things. Once inside of the room, I unlocked the shotgun and got to blasting. For the most part, it's a 2-hit kill, which I'm hoping once I upgrade it, it'll be a 1-shot, especially since I can only have 8 shells total for it. Then on this table, I found our 4th baseball card. Breaking this wall and heading out here, once I cleared out the enemies, I found our 5th comic under this plank right here, unlocking the 3rd trophy. Comic relief. Nothing else really happened for the next 10 minutes. I just kept on fighting enemies, working on the explosive barrel kills trophy, which it turns out there's 2 of them. There's one for killing 20 enemies by shooting explosive barrels, which I've been focusing on, and then another for killing 20 enemies by throwing the barrels. So whichever one I get first, I'll focus on the other. The only kill trophy that I'm worried about is the killing 20 enemies by crushing them with heavy objects, which the opportunities for these seem pretty rare. After pushing through the outside of the Opera House and through the backstage, I kept getting blocked off by that short mouse trying to light the cannon. I was about to confront him when the floor broke. I had to fight through this area and a lot of enemies here. Then, once I went up these stairs, I talked to an old rat stuntman. The man loves his old Chinese teachings and taught me how to double jump. Sitting on the chair to his right, our 4th newspaper. I then backtracked and jumped across all of these walls, making our way back to the beginning of the spot. Then, double jumping on top of this box, I ran down here and got our 5th baseball card, unlocking the 4th trophy, starter deck. Returning to the old rat, I jumped across the platform to get our 7th schematic and then returned somewhat to the beginning of the platforms to this spot in the wall. Down here is a safe that I failed the first time. The ending got me, so I had to reload the last checkpoint, which was a little bit ago. Redid everything I've just done and then returned to the safe, this time actually unlocking it and getting our 8th schematic. Then it was time to push forward and crawl my way through the vents. Really fast, if you haven't already, it would mean a lot to me if you'd click the subscribe button. It helps me out tremendously to make more movies like this one, and if I get 1.6 million subscribers before 2026 is over, I'll platinum Minecraft. Thank you. I then returned to where I originally got dropped down as I was walking near the cannon. Well, this time I could double jump across and actually make it to the cannon. I then rotated it so I wouldn't hit the mayoral candidate, and a fire broke out. I then had my first boss fight, which, for the first time in the game, since I'm on the easiest difficulty and I'm kind of regretting it now, really should have given myself props and confidence that I don't suck on a controller. This boss fight is actually fun. It's an opera singer with a spear rushing you. I kept on dashing around trying to avoid her, but she managed to get rid of like 70 of my armor. Using only the shotgun, I killed her, and then it was time to escape. Shooting my way forward and up the stairs, I found our 9th schematic right here on the dresser door. Then once I killed these guys, I made it to one of the opera seat window areas. On top of this plank, I took the picture for Tammy, the one of the hot celebs, and then moved forward till I got here. I turned to the right and double jumped over the flames, running into this secret room and getting our 6th comic. That's all the secrets left on the level, so I went back to the main lobby. Fought more enemies. The main entrance collapsed, so I had to run across these fallen pillars, through the kitchen again, fighting more enemies, and then getting stuck in the first room we entered. The stage designer luckily came to my rescue. Now the debt is paid, and we've saved each other. He then tells me he doesn't know where the magician disappeared to. He barely knows the guy, but usually has drinks with him down at the bar. That's our only clue to go on. on. But also, there's word that the magician has a lab below his mansion. It might be a good idea to go check the guy's mansion out. So I returned back to the PI office center, talked to Tammy, and turned in the quest. Obviously, when she asked for a photo of hot celebs, this wasn't what she was asking for, but we still got $100 for doing this. Only 13 more side missions to go. I then ran down the road, went to the paper boy, and paid $15 for our 5th newspaper, unlocking the 5th trophy. Paper person. Given how I almost have $1,000, I figured why not? Let's buy a baseball card from the shop, getting us to 6 cards now. I then went to the office, placed down my clues on the board. Looks like we're doing a perfect job so far, but I have no idea where Bandle lives. That's the name of the magician, by the way. Luckily for me though, as I was leaving my office, the mayor candidate that I just saved somehow knows where Bandle lives. I thought it was really strange how much the guy was interested in our case, but Jack Pepper doesn't seem to mind. The mayor candidate then writes down the address on a piece of paper for us, so we finally have a lead on where to go. There's luckily no side mission for us on this main mission, less to worry about for me. I took a bit of a drive, but I went to this outhouse spot. There's some crazy cultist members outside trying to stop me from reaching the outhouse, but what a shocker, I reached it. Inside of it, a giant elevator. Taking that down, we reached a giant room, and I don't think Bandle is a magician. Something tells me he has a side gig going on to afford all of this. It was mainly just a lot of shooting in here and turning off the electric gate. Then I made it to some destroyed train carts and got some money. Once I made it to this ladder and climbed up, I found the 10th schematic chilling under this pallet. Upon entering the next room, a very large octopus that looks really angry is waiting for us. I said hi to some more enemies and then entered this one open door. On the left, a hidden clue for us, making sure I don't miss any of these for a missable trophy. Then in the room right next to us, some crazy looking lasers firing at something, but also our 6th newspaper. Lovely. I pressed this big button because I couldn't help myself, and thank God I did. Inside of this chamber is an acid shooting machine gun. It doesn't kill immediately, maybe about 2 seconds after hitting an enemy. Does it kill? I then beat all of these enemies, got the 7th baseball card below these stairs, push into the next section where we had to fight our 2nd boss. Again, an amazing boss fight with a very unique boss. It's a robot that has lasers where each phase, it'll make it more advanced. In the beginning, it's super easy and just spins. Second phase, it'll move up and down while spinning. The 3rd phase, it'll go absolutely bonkers wild and do angles now. It's just crazy stuff. In between each phase, we have to run behind these glass walls and dodge the laser beam it's tracking us with. This robot right here actually almost got rid of all of my armor, and it ate nearly all of my ammo. Luckily, right after the fight, I got a full refill on everything. Before letting the freaky deaky guy calling me master out of the cage, I went into this room, left of this desk, and got the 11th schematic. And on the other desk, the 7th newspaper. I then went and let the freak out of the cage. His name is Igor, and he's an interesting case. He calls everyone master for some odd reason and basically told me how Bandle lost his lover and has been trying to recreate her as a robot. He can't deal with the loss. That's the point of this lab, but he hasn't been here for a while. Also commented on Igor's appearance and was going to recommend him to a plastic surgeon, but he shut that down as it would be too much work for the doctors. Thought it was funny. After that silly encounter, I killed more enemies and made my way along to the projector lights room. Before turning them on, I lockpicked this door and got the 7th comic. After turning on the projector lights, the robot came back to life. In case I forgot to mention why we were moving around the lab the way we were, it's because this robot turned off and we need this giant robot head to turn back on so we can progress forward. However, before we can move forward, I had to kill Betty number 2. Or 3. I lost count. Actual tough fight as she rushes you with blades and vomits bombs occasionally, always hurting herself with them instead as I instantly shot them. At this point, I'm somewhat getting used to the controller again, but I'm definitely still struggling. Once I finished her off, not like that, I went into the robot's mouth, not like that, and pulled a lever like Kronk. I then fell and made it to this strange water room with electricity flying everywhere. Instead of crazy cultists, we're dealing with robots now. Had a bit to fight in here, but I turned off the security door, went back up, and before hitting this lever, I lockpicked the door here and found the 8th comic. This lever then raised the train, and I fought some more robots before parkouring into the train, and then our next area. I had a platform jump my way upwards past some robots till I found this bridge, getting the 12th schematic and our 8th baseball card. card just right next to each other. I then flipped the switch and took the elevator up to the next room. Looking through the window, we can see something down there. With Jack's reaction, it looks like something to do with Betty. Looking into the trash can in the room, I found the 8th newspaper, and then heading down the stairs and looking under them, I found a safe, and inside had the 15th schematic. Walking into the large room that was very obviously for a boss fight, we see the 3rd and I'm assuming final version of Betty Bot. This version was a combination of all previous ones. She chases you down to melee you, but will constantly shoot out nukes to also chase you down and explode, but that was her biggest demise. Shooting those near her does incredible damage, as our weak guns barely do any damage to her at all. She also has the spinning laser move and the homing laser beam move, where we had to hide behind glass again. Super fun boss fight. I honestly loved it. Nice and challenging and a good time. Once I beat her, I went to the chair she was guarding, and on it is a Coast Guard ticket, possibly for Bandle to run away. The entire time in here, the man was using his old money for this Betty experiment. However, he ran out of money and needed his investments and bank loans to help him fund this, but it wasn't working out. Yet, he was so close to finishing Betty Bot. Looks like the money really dried up and he ran away to either hide from his debts or to acquire more money. Once we were done in here, it was silly. I went to the Quiddo phone over here and returned back to our PI office block. I went and updated Wanda on how the mission went and everything we learned. Then went to the store to buy our 9th baseball card. I saw on the corner of the building a note left by Tammy and went to her office. Finally, the greatest part of the game was unlocked for me, and thank God I've been collecting those schematics. She tells me how she's starting a business for upgrading guns if you bring her schematics. I then went to the table and upgraded the shotgun first. Because obviously, getting it to tier 3 unlocked the 6th trophy. This is my boomstick for upgrading one weapon to tier 3, which is insanely fitting as my boomstick was the first weapon I maxed out. I almost maxed out the pistol and then upgraded the acid weapon once, because upgrading them all by at least one unlocks their alt fires, which can either be a bigger shot or more accurate shot, or for the acid gun, an acid landmine. It was worth it to at least upgrade each gun once. Going back to my office, we're going to take a little break from Bandle, as that mayor candidate is back here to talk to me again. He's gotten word about a certain district having some disappearance issues with a certain group of mice, the shrews. They keep on vanishing and he's worried about them. So I traveled over there to check it out for him. Right off the bat, we got a super scared shrew begging that we don't do anything to him as he thinks we're cops. Turns out, the cops around here, well, the situation with the shrews and the cops are kinda hyper-specific to Germany in 1940. Catch my drift? But obviously, cops would never do anything evil like that. They're here to protect and serve us, or blast through a fence and then get dropped by one shotgun blast by me. That too. So I fought some cops and climbed this ladder into this apartment to get through. Right to our left, I found our 2nd schematic. I say 2nd instead of 16th because I don't want to make it confusing, as it's a type of currency in here. I'll just be saying what number it is to however many I'm holding. There's roughly 82 schematics in the game, and there's a trophy for upgrading all weapons to their max tier, which takes, I believe, 72 schematics, giving you a little breathing room if you miss any. Hope it all makes sense. I then traveled forward a little bit till I made it to this alleyway, and a group of cops ambushed me. Now, there was 3 explosive barrels here, and a heavy object hanging above, but I sadly never noticed it. I'm really worried that I'm gonna have to replay the entire game for those, as I just can't help but not notice them. Anyways, given how I haven't died yet, or ever come close to it, I tanked the enemies a bit to get as many with one barrel as possible. I need to unlock either of those trophies soon. I did almost die doing this, but luckily never did. More spawned in, did a lot of work with the explosive barrels, and once they were all dead, my goodness, this upgraded shotgun ain't too bad. I expected to deal more damage, but it's definitely stronger than before. I then went to the end of the street, down these stairs, and collected our 10th baseball card, unlocking the 7th trophy. Babe got bat. From there, I was trying to get the specific clue for taking a picture of the cops beating the ever-living soul out of the shrew, but couldn't for the life of me figure out how to take a picture. Turns out, I just had to turn around and walk over here to this fence, because these cops beating the shrew is better than the other spot for a picture. But I got another clue captured for the trophy. After fighting my way forward, I went up to this train track spot. A lot of my enemies died to the train running them over. It reminded me of Bright Lines in Florida. Once this area was cleared, heading down the stairs and then jumping over this brick wall, I got our 9th newspaper. Our path forward is through this door and it's locked. I went over to the basketball court and I need that backpack that's stuck in the hoop. Instead of using the barrel, because I know enemies enemies will come through that door, I threw a Hail Mary dynamite at it and it worked. Grabbing the backpack, I ate some spinach and became Popeye the Sailor Man, absolutely beating the soul out of these enemies and still, sadly not getting the trophy for killing 10 enemies in 20 seconds. I don't know why the game never spawns 10 enemies together. I then unlocked the door, worked my way up this building, and then took the trampoline to launch myself into the next building. Directly to my left, I got the 10th newspaper and the 8th trophy, cover to cover. I then fought my way through this building as well, making it to a window and shooting this target to have the pipes fall down, and letting me get to the next building. Right here in this dresser, our third schematic. I now need to make my way into the police station to figure out what's going on with these phony cops. There's several ways you can take this on, but if you go to the left side of the building and enter through this vent, you'll come out into this jail cell area, which, funny enough, only has cops in it. Believe it or not, there's one good cop in here. I first had to go around and find this key in the interrogation room, then open this door for Big Bubba. Once I said hi to him, I opened this jail cell to get the 11th baseball card. I then freed all of the cops and said hi to them, then went and released our buddy boy cop right here. This might shock you, Dave, but the police chief is highly corrupt and evil. We need to go and stop him. I asked if he would help me out, but of course, he's a chicken and said no. This interaction got me a cop's divided clue, but I did pick up this 4th schematic right next to this cop. I wandered my way back into this little room and didn't read the numbers below the levers, but managed to very quickly brute force my way through the locks and open the door we need to head through. But also this door on the right, where inside of the safe, I got our 5th schematic. I was then welcomed by a lot of vertically challenged cops, and I said hi to all of them. Heading up the stairs, I made my way into the police office area, except they more so turned this place into a corrupt mind-washing area. A few cops spread around the office, and I said hi to them all. I found these boxes in the walkway and jumped over them to go and find the 9th comic just sitting on this desk. The entire place is a maze, and I walked around until I finally found, what I'm assuming, is the police chief's office. On his board, he has a map of the city with some manholes circled in red. Well, dark gray for us. I also found our 4th gun, the Tommy gun, except the game calls it the James gun. I thought it was funny, and I am so excited to use this thing. Absolutely need to upgrade it though. It's very weak, but it's going to become my favorite weapon throughout the entire game. With all of the evidence collected, I needed to leave this district, return to the office. So I headed out of the building, but went to the left to jump on this car, then jump over the fence to head down this way to a chair that had the 10th comic sitting on it. Collecting that unlocked our 9th trophy, extremely graphic novel. With all of the collectibles and clues gathered here, I returned to the front of the station, said hi to more cops, and then shot this gas truck. I had to do some more fighting, and I feel like if I didn't mess up on what gun I was using, I could have unlocked the trophy for killing 10 enemies in 20 seconds. Bummer. After fighting my way back to my car, I left to return to our office. A cutscene played, and Jack over here is worried about the shrews. We need to update the mayor candidate on what's going on, see if there's a way to stop this. I first checked the town, though, to see if there was anyone to talk to, and not like that. The bartender over here chatted with me and told me about the shrews, how they're always targeted because they're the small guys. They get run out of their towns after getting set up. Always dark times for them. I then went and bought our 12th card from the shop. I have one more $500 card left. Then it's the 4 scary $1,000 cards. I headed over to Tammy's place and then upgraded the Tommy gun to tier 2. Hopefully I can max out my guns before unlocking the next gun. After all of that, I returned to our office and time to talk to the mayor candidate. We told him everything we knew so far about the cops and shrews. Our only lead is the sewer system, and we're about to head down there to see if we can find any leads on the shrews, especially since the cops aren't putting them in the jail cells. Hopefully, they're not somewhere worse. Before heading out though, I went and talked to Tammy. She gave me the second side quest, Blueprints Please. I just need to find her some blueprints down in the sewers. With that all done, I took the car and headed over to the old subway. Definitely a good place for some illegal activities, as this is now just a dump. I fought some enemies upon entering here, and worked more on the explosive trophies, trying to get either one. Luckily for me, once I went down here and through the barrel, it killed an enemy and got me the 10th trophy. Boomtown for killing 20 enemies with thrown explosive barrels in a single playthrough. Once I said hi to all of the enemies here, I grabbed this key on a box on the back, went to this door, and headed up. In a room to the left, I got our second schematic from a bed. Then in the lit up ticket booth area, I got the 11th newspaper. Ultimately though, very relieved that I finally unlocked another kill trophy, as I'm actually stressed about missing those this playthrough, especially the heavy object kill one. I walked forward a bit till I made it to this door with a tiny shrew hat on the handle handle, a good clue that they're definitely being trafficked down here. The next fight area had a heavy object, so I kept running around until I got enough enemies under it. I think I managed to kill 3 of them with the metal beam, but honestly, it's hard to tell. I wish there was a way for me to check my progress on it. I then kept on running around, letting the enemies hit me, which lost me all of my armor and most of my health. However, I managed to get a lot of them killed by shooting the barrel, hopefully doing a good chunk for the trophy. I then said hi to the rest of them, climbed up these boxes, and behind the wooden fence, I got the 12th newspaper. I pushed forward, making it to the second set of train tracks. I went to the left, lockpicked this door, and wandered through till I found the 13th baseball card hanging on the clothesline. After that, I continued down the track and saw another explosive barrel. I got another explosive kill here, tried to get 2, but I don't know why the little guy went boom boom without me. Then we get to the fun room. I was absolutely not going for the 10 kill trophy. Honestly, forgot about it here. But through messing around and then using the Tommy gun, which I love, I unlocked the 11th trophy. Munster kill? Sorry, Dave, I don't know how to speak Chinese, but that trophy is for killing 10 enemies in 20 seconds. Legit surprised I got it here. Then literally 1 minute later, walking into this massive room, I got 1 explosive kill here, and then the vertically challenged enemies started to rush me. I ran around and gathered them all around this explosive barrel, killing a lot of them and unlocking the 12th trophy. Fire starter for killing 20 enemies by shooting explosive barrels. What a beautiful 60 seconds it's been for me. After clearing out the room, I went to this window here, jumped through, and exploded the barrel, clearing out the wall. In here, a ton of wandering and moving through, found a lot of money and just a creepy hidden subway section. Enemies for some reason also spawned in here, but by jumping through this cart's window, I found our 3rd schematic. Lovely. I'm trying extra hard now to only think of killing enemies with heavy objects, which, my word, unless I'm blind, they're very rare. Definitely going to have to do the strat where you just keep running in circles with them until you get a group under the object, then drop it. Anyways, I went through this creepy abandoned room. To the left, I got the 13th newspaper, then made it to this giant water room section. Surely if I hit this lever, it won't start a boss fight. Oh, it actually wasn't. Okay. This is just to progress forward with a bit of a platform section. Good thing I just platinumed Astrobot. For the next 20 minutes, I just kept moving forward, fought more enemies, the same old, same old. I did manage to get a few more heavy object kills with running around some enemies. Sadly, didn't get as many as I would like with this, but after a while, I reached a spot with an old ticket guy. Chatting with him, the goons in here attacked him, and he's not part of their gang. He mentions how they have brine on their clothes, like they just swam in the ocean. Maybe the track they take for moving shrews out is underwater? I then continued onwards, more jumping and shooting until I reached this spot right here. There's train cars everywhere, and we got a big bad alligator to fight. Welcome to the average walk in Florida. I thought this was the spot where you have to punch the agitator in the snout. It turns out I was wrong, so I kept on kicking these little guys for no reason. I also took a ton of damage here by doing that, but I also dealt a ton more damage here with the acid gun alt fire I got. Holy crap, it was literally melting his health away rapidly. Once I said hi to the boss, I went to this little chambers and I had a new skill to learn, the tailcopter. If I hold L1, I can now glide in. If there's a draft below me, I can go upwards. The annoying part though, I don't know how I was supposed to get on top of these train cars. Nothing was working, so I did a little sneaky double jump off of a specific pixel. Spamming the collect button, I got our 11th comic. Phew. Then continued onwards. I'm not taking blame for this because it genuinely was the game's fault, not mine, I swear. But at this section with the dangerous water below and having to hit these air vents to continue onwards, I saw the 6th schematic tucked below in here. I grabbed it and was going to double jump glide back onto the air vent to avoid damage when Jack was a silly goober and walked off, dying almost instantly, which is honestly insane how fast this kills you, giving me my first death. Was actually ashamed here as the first death was so lame, but my second time coming here, I did actually get it and get out safely, how it should have gone originally. Then I made it to our second vent, went through, and there's a locked door next to the save point. Massive section here. Highly important that I went through that door. After some struggling on the luck, I made it in, and now for 3 things. First, entering the water, I can swim down here and through this tunnel and entering a secret spot and lockpicking a safe open, boom, our 7th schematic. Returning to the entrance of this place, I took the air vent up and went into this metal shack, finally finding the blueprints for Tammy and completing the side quest. But it's still not over. I went on top of the shack, threw this explosive barrel at the fake wall, and finally, another figurine. 2 of 10. And genuinely, still I'm actually so disappointed that there's no trophy for finding all 10. Yes, I get it, it's a secret collectible, but still, make it a gold trophy. I want to be rewarded for collecting them. Anyways, I went back to the save point and climbed up. This area is absolutely going to be a big fight. I can already tell. There's also a heavy object right here, and I'm desperate for more. I traveled onwards though and talked to the leader down here, but he was pleading that he's innocent. Didn't know what he was doing, but he luckily spilled the beans. Or, I guess, spilled the cheese sauce. He told me where they take the shrews to. They're in cargo containers going to the Bay Area. This is really sounding like a real life event. I just can't put my finger on it. After talking to him, I left the room and wow, a surprise ambush. Well, an ambush as it wasn't a surprise as the game literally told me that there was an ambush. Weird. I don't know why they spoil it. I ran around a bit, gathering up the enemies right here. And thank the Lord I did, Dave. I shot down the heavy object, and my God, I love this. I killed 6 of them with it. Surely I might be around 15 kills with heavy objects. Not feeling stressed about getting that trophy anymore. After that, I just cleaned up the place as there wasn't any more heavy objects. Just got easy and fun kills. I actually enjoy the combat in this game. Once everyone was dead, Jack didn't like how clean it was down here, but I was more so focused on the fact that his car was down here somehow on the water. Unless I'm a silly goober and this was the beginning of the level, but anyways, I returned home and ran to Tammy first, turning in the second side quest and getting 2 schematics for it. I'm actually happy with this reward. I proceeded to max out the Tommy gun, very excited to use it, and got the acid gun to tier 2. I forgot it was in tier 2 already. No wonder it wasn't hitting too hard on the enemies in that previous mission. Anyways, running back towards the office, I bought the last $500 baseball card, getting us to 14 total. Now I only need $4,000 total to get the rest. As I was walking into my office, I put everything onto the clues board. This is starting to look intense. I was going to go check out my figurines when a woman came in and ruined it. Jackie boy over here was immediately head over heels for her. It's a rich lady with a need to speak French, but no French accent. Nice. We kept telling her no for taking the case, but Jack cracked once she mentioned you'd be getting a huge payday for this. So this mission, her good friend who's a famous actress, well, was a famous actress, was murdered. The cops think she wasn't. Not sure what the cops think it is, but Vivian over here knows she was murdered. She strongly believes it. That some man took her out because of jealousy or something. So now we need to go and find out who murdered her. We also take this case because for some reason, even though we sort of know where to go for the shrew case, Jack is at a dead end there and doesn't know where to go. So we take this case on and I ran to the bar to talk to Wanda. She has our 3rd side quest. Basically, she was doing an interview with a promising screenwriter. She was expecting to hear back from the guy, but never did. She wants to make sure nothing happened to him, as she thinks something weird happened. So we need to go and check on the screenwriter. Then finally, I talked to the mayor candidate and told him everything we did and found in the sewers. We told him we'll have to put this case on hold as we don't know where to go or what to do now. Which again, I thought we'd be going to the Bay Area to snoop around, but now with Vivian giving us a new quest line, we're going to go and focus on that. I'm actually loving how many quest lines we got and keep getting. It keeps the game very fresh and the storylines are very fun and unique. I drove over to the Tinsel area. It's a giant Hollywood-style place. Immediately getting into a shootout with a mobster, and that won't be the last. This entire place is crawling with them. Shooting my way down this road, I got a secret clue that's missable, a destroyed car, then worked my way over and lockpicked into this bar. Once I said hi to the mobsters, I went behind the counter and found the 14th newspaper. In this level, they're kind of generous with the amount of heavy object kills you can get. However, they normally always only kill 1 enemy, but I do feel like I'm super close to that trophy. I turned on the power and jumped across this hole. Another ambush came and I took them all out with no sweat. It's like the difficulty's on easy or something. Making my way up the stairs, right here is the second schematic. There wasn't any collectible for a bit, but a lot of fun filming areas. Every time I walk into some place, the director would announce something about to happen or how I'm supposed to be feeling. I kept on fighting a lot of goons and using those heavy objects. Then we finally made it inside of a building and I found this area funny. There's a giant head screaming at some artists on the projector. I took care of some mobsters, then turned off the the projector, freeing all of the artists. The mobsters obviously didn't like that. How else would they release remakes of our childhood classics that literally none of us asked for because we just want some new movies? But Hollywood will never figure that out. Once I said hi to them, I went outside, moved past some girls that kept hitting on me, but no thank you. Then I made it to Gabe Clarkle. He luckily knows a Betty, the friend of Vivian that we're investigating the death of, but there's someone else that knows her better. Her best friend, who should apparently be up ahead a little bit. After talking to him, I came across this wall that I can break with some dynamite. Saying hi to some goons hiding in here, I found the 15th baseball card. Lovely. Then some more fighting outside and making my way into this building. In the first bathroom on the left, there's a skeleton reading a newspaper. I took it because skeletons can't read, and that got me the 15th newspaper. I then found the holy grail of trophy hunting in Mouse PI for hire. This room here is filled to the brim with heavy objects. I didn't shoot any of the enemies, just the objects. And Dave, we got him. The 13th trophy, Spike D 16 tons for killing 20 enemies with heavy objects in a single playthrough. Thank the Lord I have that done and don't need to worry about killing enemies in a certain way anymore. We have 2 other enemy specific trophies, but those are easy and basically part of the storyline. With that finally done, I killed the rest and went to the exit. Before leaving though, I saw this letter on the ground to Wanda. Picking that up, I now just need to talk to her and the 3rd side quest is done. Then going outside, I shot down this piano and box, jumped on top, and got the 16th baseball card down here. Working my way forward and saying hi to some more enemies, we're now Indiana Jones. Like, quite literally. Down here on the table, I picked up the 3rd schematic, and then went and talked to Henry Ford mouse version. He taught me another skill where I can use my tail to swing across some hooks like Indiana Jones and his whip. He also took some medication and can't complete filming the scene, so it's up to us to find the last 2 golden statues, return them to the floor over here, then pull the lever again, and I had to run away from this giant boulder. Donkey would be impressed with it, and I swung away without it crushing me, completing the scene. Outside, another shootout with some goons, and then I went into this garage to talk to Betty's friend, the pyrotechnic mouse. She told me how Betty was amazing, full of life and explosive personality, a real firecracker if you will. However, days before she died, she was meeting up with a mysterious hidden rich mouse, a guy who always wore super expensive suits, never left the changing room, always hidden. Then she died. Her personal trailer was also moved out and stuffed into some closet. Maybe some clues there. I now need to go and check that stuff out. Moving forward, we're now onto some medieval sets. Ton of fun fights here. Love this fire power up and swung across some more hooks. Loving this level the most so far. And once I said hi to all of the enemies here and this wooden crate that had enemies in it, I found the 12th comic. Now to push outside and make it to another movie set. Also found a secret right here in this tower. Nice money. Once I finished fighting more enemies, I found the 4th schematic on a desk right here with a lot of money surrounding it. Dropping down from the balcony, we make it to Betty's changing room. Super tiny, so it was easy and quick to look for clues. In this drawer, I got a picture of her in Walt Disney in mouse form standing together. Apparently, he's another mayor candidate. Shouldn't be too hard to find him. I also acquired a key, and before using the Quiddo phone, I went to this locked door. Went inside to lockpick this door, then yet again, lockpick this safe, getting us the 5th schematic. I then used the Quiddo phone, talked to Wanda, and told her we didn't find that interviewee she was looking for, but we did get the letter from them. She then paid me 150 gold for completing this. Phenomenal. Only need 250 more for a baseball card. Before talking to Vivian, I went to Tammy to max out the pistol. I find myself using that way more than the acid gun, but with all of the guns I have unlocked, I'm at least almost done upgrading them all to tier 3. Now at this moment, Dave, the game went from being linear and easy to follow, just one mission and one side mission to do at a time, to a literal vomit of information and quests. I'm going to try my best to structure this in an easy way to follow because it got a bit messy when I was collecting them all to begin. So first off, talking to Vivian, I told her everything I found out. She said that mayor candidate, Walt Disney lookalike, is very hard to get in contact with, especially for a man. And on top of that, a PI. So I better go for his close partner, Mr. Kirk. That's in some location, but there's a side mission connected to that main one. I talked to John Brown, and he wants me to find him a slab of special meat that can apparently make a great hamburger. Cool, will do. Then going back to the evidence board, I somehow got a magical clue that I didn't have before. Like, genuinely so serious, I have no idea where it came from. But it unlocks the Bay Area back when we were, doing the shrew case, which I think is also connected to the missing missing magician case, as this clue is in between both of them. So I need to go there and find out more info on the missing shrews, and maybe, this is my speculation here, something about the missing magician, as he did disappear and we left off on that case with some Coast Guard ticket. Now, with the saltwater Cambozo main quest, that unlocks 2 side missions. Talking to John Brown again, he wants me to collect some special fish for him, canned herring for another special dish. Then, talking to the good mayor candidate, he needs us to sneak in and steal a shipment of luxury cheese sticks from the customs office for him. Apparently, his illegal shipment got caught. All of that was given to me over 11 minutes of straight info vomit. My word. I had 2 places I could head to, but because I got the card mission first and that burger side quest first, I'm going to the Opera Ruins to do those. This is the opera house we burnt down near the beginning of the game. Upon entering here, right at the beginning, I was walking up to the locked door, the floor broke below me and I fell, nearly dying, but it wasn't even close. Then using my tail to fly my way up here, I entered this hidden room and got the 13th comic. Heading down these stairs, I came across some bones and a fire. Turns out, John Brown had the meat. He just wanted me to cook it, for some odd reason to him. Doing this might make the meat super delicious for a burger or something. Well, Jack, for some odd reason, took a bite out of the burnt meat and almost threw up. No idea why he'd bite it. I then did some absolutely amazing parkour skill jumps here and grabbed the money below the towers. And then found the safe in the lobby area, unlocking it and getting our first schematic. Then I missed it at first, but I returned to where I got that comic. Walking out here and then double jumping around the wall, I found a secret spot and found our 17th baseball card. Might surprise you, but that's all the collectibles and side mission stuff for this level. It's actually an insanely short mission. I then returned to the only open door in here, saved, and was walking forward when I got cut off by this painting. I have to jump down here, press the button, climb the ladder fast, and then double jump across. I thought I was missing something important, as it took me about 4 tries to get across, an actual difficult jump, but I finally made it over and found Mr. Kurt. He was resistant to talking at first, but once I mentioned Betty and how his boss, the mayor candidate, is connected to her disappearance, he opened up and spoke. He did keep a lot of things hidden. He is media trained, but it sounds like Betty was close to him and the mayor candidate. But for some odd reason, Mr. Kurt over here really disdains her. He then threatens to sue us for asking so many questions, and I definitely hit a nerve with him. So that ends it there, but now Jack Pepper really wants to talk to that mayor candidate. I used the Quiddo phone and returned to the PI office. I went over to John Brown and told him about the meat I cooked and how disgusting it was. He then drops wanting to use that for his menu and gives us 2 Spike D prize tokens. We're going to need 20 total to unlock this mysterious machine right here for something nice. But that's the 4th side mission done. I then talked to Vivian and told her everything that happened. The next area I'll have to head to for that mission is Mr. Kurt's house, as apparently there's something buried in the dirt there. Or that's at least what I got out of that entire conversation, but that's for the future. I went to the evidence board and put down another clue, letting me solve something with the Betty case, and this now unlocks another mission that might be connected between the Shrew case and Betty case? My word, things are getting very spread out here, but I'm trying my best to keep it all together and understandable for you, Dave. This also unlocks the next main mission for me, White Lies and Dark Secrets. But we're gonna go and finish the saltwater Cambozo mission first. I drove downwards on the map to Wallop Bay. Immediately, the personality and character of the level absolutely love it. Phenomenal so far. Walking forward, right on this wooden table, our 16th newspaper. And then strolling over here to the hanging fish, there's a cave right below this dock. A little difficult to land into, took me several tries, but right here is the 3rd figurine. To the left, a safe with a timer and move limit on it, which I failed immediately, and then restarted the level. Very important I did that, as inside of the safe is our 2nd schematic. Then, jumping into the water, below these floating bottles is a crate that has our 18th baseball card on it. Really sick looking card, and at this point, we're nearly halfway done with all collectibles. Once I made it to shore, I had to Assassin's Creed my way up these wooden beams to this window, finding the 3rd schematic right here. Up next was a ton of areas with enemies and just saying hi to a lot of crooked cops. My favorite spot was this little dock area where I drank some coffee, and then my hand became a pistol. Infinite shots, insanely high damage, very accurate. I wanted this fight to last twice as long. It was super fun. Moving forward, after bit, I got this big area and caught up with the leader of the crooked cops here. He left his cannonball launcher weapon here, and I unlocked the next weapon. This thing only has 5 shots total right now, but my word, is it amazing. I was hoping to get a new gun when I began this level. Good to know the devs can read my mind. Small waves of enemies would come out after every 2 windows I shot through. I had to parkour and run around to get ammo for this thing, but luckily, they kept spawning in. Once I shot down the building, I talked to the buddy and the guy that we're looking for. Not sure where this name came from or why we're looking for him, but his name is Bozo and we need him alive. He's apparently going to be able to connect the missing magician and the shrew case together. Buddy over here says he's being kept at a dock nearby. Then for some reason, left this guy alive. Next area had a few enemies, but I said hi to them all easily, and then worked my way up to blow open this part of the building. Indiana Jones my way across, and then once I opened the gate, I found the 17th newspaper right here. After blowing up the water tower and then saying hello to some goons, I finally made it to the first side mission spot. I headed into this building with a heart and dagger graffiti outside of it. Heading up the stairs and looking down at a lethal stink bomb hole, here's the fish that John Brown wants. It's just like that absolute garbage rotting smell fish in a can in Europe. Sorry. With him done, I went onwards until I made it to a floor where, down below, Bozo was being held up by a cop. I flashed the cop my white card and he left. Talking to Bozo, he's kinda helpful, but ultimately a scammer. The dude tells me more about the shrew transportation schematics. Turns out it's done by some 1940s German groups sounding characters. They travel underground a lot and they're using some old buildings way up ahead. Basically, he gave me an area to go check, possibly where they're moving the shrews to. He then scams me 50 bucks for a key to a pharmacy up ahead for loot. It's a scam and you'll learn why in a minute. Once we were done chatting, I shot him in the head for scamming me and then made it to this big area with a water tower. I said hi to a decent amount of goons. The crooked cops are really sending everyone they can to stop me here. I then found the door to the customs office and found the 19th baseball card sitting on this windowsill. Heading into the back room, I found the smelly, nasty cheese that the mayor candidate wanted. Both side missions now done. All that's left are 3 collectibles in the level, and we're done. I went into this small alleyway with frogs, lockpicked a safe for some money, and to the left was the 4th schematic. After about 5 minutes of being confused on where to go next, because the magnifying glass wasn't helping me at all, I opened up the gate to the next area. Jumping over the truck at the very back, I cleared out the entrance to a vent and headed inside. Past the steam pipes, I got our 5th schematic. Making it out and blowing up this wall, we're in the shelter part. The final collectible for the level, the 18th newspaper, was right here on the table, and then a clue on the other table, a trade agreement. So, this shrew moving business is seriously profitable. Actually, insane. I had to find my way back to the pharmacy next, and you'll see why Bozo scammed me. Luckily, it was only 50 bucks, but still, I need that for baseball cards. Luckily, no scalpers in this universe. Once I returned to the water tower section, more enemies spawned in, and they all went bye-bye. The gate then opened, and the pharmacy door was right there. I could have lockpicked it. I could have saved myself 50 bucks and just do it how I normally do with locks, but yeah. In here, I found a clue about some old medicine. Who knows what it's for? Nothing else really, but once I left, I said hi to these goons with a cannonball. That was sick. I pushed forward to this secret-ish room and found another clue about the amount of shrews being moved. My god, it's a lot. Tons of them going missing. Then we heard an explosion and I had to find my way back to those docks where I drank coffee to make my fingers into a gun and had a blast with it. Once we made it there, the 2 bad guys presumably running the entire operation were right there. The police captain, the cop of the year himself, what a shocker, and some German scientists. A bit on the nose there. The cop escaped on a plane and the scientist took a submarine out of here. Once the cutscene was over and I was beginning to fight a ton of goons, I unlocked the 14th trophy, Misfortunes of the Missing Magician, for finding the key clues in the missing magician case. I don't know if I'm being dumb here, but what do either of those men have to do with the missing magician case? The fight didn't take too long, and once I was done, I took the Quiddo phone and returned to the office. I went to John Brown first, and Jack went absolutely nuclear on the guy, just going insanely overboard with the reaction of having to get this fish. Well, it's a bit bad for John here, but with that, I unlocked the 15th trophy, Dime Novel Sleuth, for completing 5 side jobs. And we also got 1 more Spike D prize token, making that 3 total. I then went to the mayor candidate and gave him his cheese shipment, completing the 6th side mission, getting me 400 gold coins there. Absolutely huge. Since I have a ton of money, I went to the store to buy another baseball card, but I was really shocked to see I could buy a comic strip for 50 gold. I don't know where this came from, like if it only appears if you miss it in a level, which I'll be stunned if that's the case. But yeah, I bought that, getting us the 14th comic. Then bought one of the baseball cards for 1,000 gold, getting us the 20th baseball card. Going to Tammy's, I upgraded the new cannonball launcher to tier 2 because why not? This thing is amazing. And I now only need 9 more schematics to upgrade all of my guns. Really curious what the last few weapons are going to be. Now to finally go to our office, I went to the clues board, put up one photo, and somehow I could resolve a lead with the Wallop Bay part, unlocking the far wetlands. No idea how I got that, but I filled up the board with even more clues. This whole thing is going to be filled in no time. Our next main mission is the White Lies and Dark Secrets. No side mission for this one, so that's less to worry about messing up. I drove over here to the Kurdsville spot and was welcome with a spooky forest. This place is a bit trippy as it looks like Transylvania, but also Mississippi. Just had to walk through the forest when I encountered a mouse. She was telling me to leave as this area is very dangerous. Some scary folks up ahead, but I kept telling her, no, I'm gonna go in as I'm the main character and I'll be fine. For protection, she gives me a little ward bracelet and I push on, immediately getting the Christie Gnome Simulator and saying hi to 3 dogs. After some time of walking, I made it to a bridge with a pumpkin. Cool aesthetics, and this thing gave me the next weapon, the Kiss Kiss. It's a double barrel shotgun that deals fire damage. This weapon specifically would be illegal to use in war. That's how you know that we're about to have fun. Once I grabbed it and moved on, a car crashed into the building and a fight broke out. Well, more of a slaughter as the shotgun is absolutely phenomenal and it's not even upgraded. I can't wait. Once I said hi to everyone, I went into the building, into this room, and got our second schematic. I then jumped down the hole, took a spiral portal to a different section of this map, and then fought my way through a cave system, making it up here to this building from an elevator. They definitely have the spooky aspect down perfectly, and I don't know why, but this just feels like Resident Evil 4 to me. I just get very strong RE4 vibes from this place. Before we do anything here though, I went to the right and headed to the left side of the barn. Back here is the 21st baseball card. We're now over 50% done with those. Then I headed back to the town center, shot a bell on the front of this house, then on this tree, and then shot the 3rd bell on top of the church. Doing so unlocked the church, getting an okay amount of money, healing, and armor, but most importantly, the 4th figurine. I want this so badly in real life. Devs, if you're watching this, please, I'll even pay for the media package you sent to content creators. I want that briefcase so badly. With every possible collectible done so far, I went up to the mansion's gate and the mean groundskeeper wouldn't let me inside. Something about my shoes, and I think he's just jealous of the drip. Luckily, the kind old true lady came in to help me and told me to get the 3 rings of that groundskeeper's ex-wives. For some reason, they're all dead, and somehow by collecting all of the rings, it'll make him let me into the mansion? I didn't really follow here, but I said hi to the locals and went into the first house, grabbing this key and denying a date with the ghost lady. I guess Jack isn't into MILFs. Loser. I then got the missable clue on the wall. It's Barry's diploma. Really don't get how this could help us out with the case, but I also got the 3rd schematic right here on the floor with the ghost lady's ring. Nice. Next up, I said hi to the locals again, and going into the barn, the power magically got shut off, so I need to make my way to the windmill to turn it back on. Going upstairs, I finally found out you can change the difficulty of the game in the settings. I really wish I found this out earlier because this game is way too easy for me, like no challenge at all in the fights, so I raised it to the middle difficulty to see if anything would change. After making the jump over the pit, right under the stairs, I got the 5th comic. We're now over 50% done with those 2, and then running over to this wall, I got the 4th schematic. Climbing up the windmill, someone somehow put a spooky femur in the cogwheel, and that's how the power was shut. I removed it, went and grabbed the key, then had to find my way back to somewhat of the beginning area. Returning to the cave system I went into back at the beginning, I was then able to open this door that I wanted to open back then. Turn on the power to remove the water. Heading down, there's the 2nd wedding ring and the ex-wife. My god, that groundskeeper is genuinely an awful person. He murdered his bride-to-be. He actually gave her one of the worst deaths ever. She's gonna go and handle him. With the 2nd ring acquired, I Indiana Jonesed my way into the spiral portal and made it to a boss section. I went to grab the 3rd ring when the 3rd ex-wife appeared. A bit angry, but incredibly justified for being so, she thought I was the husband and attacked me, wanting revenge. This entire fight, even on detective difficulty, incredibly easy. I actually almost won this fight without even getting touched, and I wasn't even trying for it. All you gotta do is just kill these one-shot skeletons, flash your flashlight on her like you're Alan Wake. Sometimes she has a shield and you gotta shoot it out, then flash her again. No, not like that. A super easy fight, but was fun. Once I won, she realized I wasn't her husband, and she said she's gonna go kill him. You go, queen, we're all rooting for you. Before leaving, I went below this section, and right here on the ledge was the 22nd baseball card. Now returning back to the groundskeeper section, the 3 ex-wives are there, and he tried to talk his way out of it, but luckily, they forced him into the ground and hopefully making him suffer. Now, we can head into the mansion. I talked over the pipe phone? Old-fashioned iPhone at the front door, and some girl let me inside as Jack pretended to be the groundskeeper. This place is huge, and we're trying to find some clues while enemies rush us. I first went to the left to grab a secret clue off of the fireplace, said hi to the cultist, and then went upstairs to lockpick this door. Then the safe, and got the 5th schematic. Finishing all collectibles on this level, and then collected the 2 clues the game wanted me to. After all of that, I headed way upstairs to the tower room, finding a child. Presumably Mr. Kurd's secret daughter. No wonder the groundskeeper was trying so hard to keep me away. The phone rang and a mysterious voice talked about Mr. Kurd being dead. The next part of the plan starting, then the operator told me Mr. Kurd was found dead. For those confused, because I was, Mr. Kurd was the Walt Disney looking mean mouse back at the Opera House when I returned to it after it burnt down and mice were rebuilding it. Remember? Good. The daughter is now an orphan, and we took her with us back to the PI office. She's safer there with everyone than being back at that cultist-filled creep show. I first went and upgraded the Kiss Kiss double barrel to tier 2. Back in my office, Vivian is gone. Probably still out trying to get evidence for the Betty case. Then I put all of the clues I gathered onto the board. With Mr. Kurd being dead, I guess he was innocent in Betty's death. But his boss sure ain't innocent yet. With the Betty case coming to a pause, it's time for the damp evidence case. This is for the missing shrew case. Abrupt stop though. Looking at the trophies again, I realized I missed one. Luckily, because I save at every single level separately, I reloaded back into the PI office right before we started the Wallop Bay mission. I then traveled over there, went to this giant fish that's not a shark, and kicked it, unlocking the 16th trophy, Quint's Delight. Or kicking the Wallop Bay shark till it drops the license plate. Again, that's a giant fish, not a shark. Now, back to progressing through the game. I first talked to John Brown for a side mission. He wants me to get 3 items for his perfect bog fondue. Sounds disgusting. I also talked to the mayor candidate again. Honestly, I don't think I remember anything he said. It was a lot of gibberish and word salads. It didn't seem like anything was important. With that all done, I drove over to the far wetlands, and upon entering here, I gotta say, it wasn't very wet or a land. But it sure was far. We started in a house and making my way upstairs. Going into this room, I got the 19th newspaper, our 3rd and final collectible category, now at 50% done. Then, I just found my way through the house like Leon in RE4 and came out to this open land area. Still not wet, but at least it's land. Starting to live up to the name. This huge section was a bit of fighting, still super easy and making me really tempted to turn on the hardest difficulty. But once I said hi to everyone, I found a missable clue right here on the cabin wall. It's just pointless instructions for the goons that the cops are here, but before continuing on, I personally wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I jumped onto this roof, then over here to this destroyed walkway and got our 2nd schematic. Very lovely. I then enter the mines for the first time and work my way through them to this open shack area. I made sure to loot this entire place first of all of its money as it was owned by a boomer. I grabbed the 23rd baseball card on the furnace and then talked to the old cheese legger. Weirdly enough, for the side mission for John Brown, I need to find 3 thingies for this perfect bog fondue. The old cheese legger allegedly knows the recipe for it, but he wants me to get them the items to make it, to then give me the recipe. I mean, fine, I guess. Hopefully it shouldn't be too hard. Once we were done chatting, I went down the hill, LARPed as Christy Gnome again, and found the 3rd schematic hanging in this chap's mouth. Once I clean up the rest of the area, it's time to enter the 2nd mine. Upon entering and heading to the right, I flipped the switch and I had to land on this ledge over there. The thing is, I was trying to lower myself faster as you can't glide forever. Well, I thought I was dead, but didn't die. Instead, I dropped down below where there's water, instantly pausing and reloading the last checkpoint. It's incredibly important I don't miss that ledge, because that's where the first thingy is. Luckily, I got it on my 2nd try, then I jumped down and explored the area, getting a ton of money and then flipping the switch in here. I was instructed to read how to be a plumber book. and doing so, I unlocked the next skill. I'm now literally Mario and can use pipes to travel to other areas. I kinda wish there was an animation for this, but nice. I believe that's our 4th skill unlocked. I entered a basement area and had to go and turn on the electricity down here. Once it was on, enemies spawned in. I said hi, then we entered the mansion. This entire place is just filled with creepy signs. The Illuminati symbol, or that one pyramid guy from Gravity Falls, take your pick, and eyeballs in the walls. Again, I went to these settings and I changed the difficulty to the max. I'm honestly stunned, but the combat in this game is incredibly easy. I'm not seeing any difference between easy and super sleuth. A little bit into the place before blowing up this wall, the second thingy box was on top of this cheese. Lovely. After a bit of exploring, I made it to an office with a key. Before grabbing it though, I jumped up and went through this vent, leading to a secret room and unlocking our 5th beautiful figurine. Also a crap ton of money on the ground. At top of my head, it was close to 100 gold. Nice. I then returned to the office, grabbed the key, and the entire floor went out under me. But with this key, I can now open the foyer doors and enter the boss room. These cultists are, no shock, insane, but they can apparently hear music. That's what this big boy was saying during our chat, and then we got to fighting, and I got to dying for the 2nd time. And not because the boss is hard or anything, I didn't even lose health. Apparently his dynamite will remove the floor. I wasn't aware of that, and I jumped to my death. Also, the cannonball launcher sucks for dealing damage to him, but my Tommy gun sure doesn't. Absolutely melted the fool, and once he died, the floor was almost entirely gone. Came back, and these goons right here didn't get the memo that I'm John Mouse. They can't stop me. Moving to the left, down the balcony, I got our 2nd newspaper, and then had to find my way past some cops down the hill. Honestly, Super Sleuth difficulty isn't hard. It doesn't change anything but how much damage you take, which honestly isn't too much, but definitely makes the game a lot more fun than Recruit. Once I made it to the shack, I grabbed this absolutely awesome secret clue. This thing is dope. I had to jump across the swamp till I made it to this boat. Upon reaching the top, right below these pallets, our 3rd thingy. I now just need to go and turn it into the old cheese liker, wherever he is. Still in the same area, I jumped up to the treehouse and went through until I found the 4th schematic nailed to the tree. I found a secret room with some money inside of the ship through the Mario tube. We're now at the cheese legger's base, and I need to explore it for more clues. Enemies welcomed me here, and I fought my way into the first building on the right, grabbing a secret clue. A cheese-covered police badge. Then going up the stairs to the right, there's another Mario tube that led me to the 24th baseball card. I then had to go back outside, go to the right of the building, dodge some shots, and lockpick this safe to get the 5th schematic. This is when things got a bit sad. I moved into the cheeselegger boss room. The man was on the ground, dying. I'm assuming the crooked cop leader got here and took care of him. Seems to be tying up loose ends, or removing all partners. He tells me how he was only doing it for a better life, to live comfortably and in a nice place, which doesn't matter when you're trafficking people. I don't get why they're trying to make us sympathize with this guy. He's very evil and cruel. He then tells us about the leaders, the cop chief and the German scientist Mouse, how bad they are, that they're coming back to tie up loose ends. They're coming for me. We were taking this all down as evidence and going to bring the medical mice to save him, but he died. Before we could even think, this Scottish butthole over there busted through the wall, threatened to kill me, threw some dynamite that I shot as I was trying to kill him. Then he ran away. He blew open some water pipe and water was rushing into the place. I had to escape or be killed. There were some mice blocking me off. Guess they didn't get the water memo, and I luckily made it out. Once we reached the outside, I turned around to finally go to the old cheeselegger. I gave him the 3 thingies, and he gave me the recipe for the perfect bog fondue. Disgusting. But that 16th comic right here on the boxes sure ain't disgusting. That was the final collectible for the level, luckily. I then headed down the dock and to the plane to leave the level. As so much to digest from this and think over. Is what I would have said if that Scottish butthole wasn't speeding down on a boat. Destroyed the bridge and then destroyed the plane. Cool. Now I'm stranded here and have to kill him. Yeah, it's definitely because of the difficulty, but oh my god, this one was actually close. I'm actually shocked I lived here. These platforms will slowly start to sink the longer you stay on them. You have to keep on moving around, dodging his shots while also constantly shooting him, and on top of all of that, you get flying rats coming after you, which I ignore them completely, and turned into a bigger issue near the end as they were blocking my cannon shots. There was a giant swarm of them. I luckily had a lot of cheese health packs to spam and kept on drinking the health potions on the platforms. And then ended it with a cannon shot and luckily took him down. However, I wish they would have moved the camera to let us see, but the man was eaten alive by, I'm presuming, were fish? Couldn't tell you though. With him finally dead and me spamming healing, I grabbed his journal, which had terrible notes, and then finally returned to the PI office. Whew. I went and upgraded the Kiss Kiss to tier 3. Honestly, I don't really care about the remaining weapons. I never use them, but out of them, I use Kiss Kiss the most, so why not? I then told the mayor candidate, Stilton by the way, but I'll just use his name instead of his title from now on. I told Stilton everything I found and basically was it. He didn't give me anything new or helpful. I turned in the recipes to John Brown, and I guess the old cheeselegger wasn't lying about John. He was known as Mad John, because Johnny Boy over here seems really embarrassed by it. Anyways, that completed the 7th side mission, and I got 2 more Spike D tokens from it. Finally, I returned to our clues board and put everything I gathered up. This then unlocked me, the far wetlands on the board, and also Secret Shell. 2 more main missions from those. Surely we'll be coming to conclusions soon. Before heading out to another mission, I wanted to see if I can knock out the trophies for winning 1 and 30 baseball card games. A short story, no. For anyone who has played Hearthstone before, it's literally that, but baseball and only 1 player card at a time. This was the most amount of info vomit I have ever seen, and I quickly became overwhelmed. Here's how I understand the game. You and the NPC get 1 turn as the batter and pitcher. If you're the batter, you want your numbers to be as high as possible. As long as your numbers are higher than the pitcher's, your guy will swing, hit, and go on a base. The little foot icon below the white icon, that's how many bases you'll run, from 1 to 4. If the pitcher has higher numbers, you miss and lose the card. If you're both the same, it's a coin toss and you pray RNGesus is on your side. You'll have 5 tries as a batter and 5 tries as a pitcher. Each game seems to take about 5 minutes, maybe 7. So that's going to be a massive grind for 30. My first game was super lame and ended in a draw because the NPC cheated and pulled out insane numbers. But I at least know the game now and know how long it'll take to win 30 games. I just need to collect more cards. Then I should be able to easily unlock those trophies. Also, I don't know if you get any gold for winning the game, but I hope I do, as it costs 50 gold per play. So with my vast wealth, I went and bought another baseball card from the store, our 25th one. Only 16 more to go. Now to get back to the main mission. We're hunting down the shrew mission again, going into the sewers to see if we can find where their system leads. I drove over to the depths and we began in the sewer system. A really tight place, lots of enemies, and this was the first time ever that the level was hard. They for some reason decided to spawn in enemies only when you looked away from the doors. On console, can't really turn around that fast, so that made it incredibly hard, constantly lowering my health and making me camp. The worst part as well with this level, I don't know why, but every time you begin a level, you barely have any ammo. That was especially the case here, and it was even rarer to find ammo, making this actually difficult for once. Once I made it to the waterfall spot and raised the gate, I jumped down to take a photo of this secret clue, a cage for the shrews, I presume. Then turning around, going through the waterfall and fighting some enemies, I got our first schematic on the table. Continuing forward after a bit, I made it to this huge room, cleared out enemies like normal, but I was trying to figure out how to get through this fence to get that schematic and the tiny boat. Turns out, you gotta activate these levers, which each time you do, more enemies spawn in. Again, almost always empty on ammo, actually having to use all guns here. The struggle, I know. But once I used the lever, the machine began working and I could sprint through these crushing metal cylinders. Actually nerve-wracking here. I really don't want to get crushed, obviously, and have to redo the fights. I did manage to get the second schematic and then make it out alive. But once those flying rats flew in after I used the third lever, I died. My first legit death in the game. To my surprise, when I respawned, all of the enemies were dead and I didn't lose any progress. Strange, but very welcome. I then traveled upwards and made it to the spot where the kind old lady was waiting for me, telling me that she'll see me up ahead, then spawning that elevator out of nowhere. Taking it and heading down, oh my goodness, it's a secret shrew underground city. We got fishermen right out of the elevator and the water is filled with oily skulls. It looks awesome. There's stores all around us on the first floor, then parkouring my way up this place. The underground city has such an amazing personality and character to it. It made me feel like I was playing Fallout 3 again and visiting Rivet City. Upon reaching the top, before talking to the old lady, I lockpicked this door and got the 21st newspaper here. Then talking to her, this might be the first time ever, like genuinely, I'm not suspicious of her at all, I didn't realize that she's a shrew, so she's a kind old shrew lady. But for some reason, Jack doesn't trust her at all. He thinks she's gonna kill him or hurt him. I never got that vibe from her once. She tells me to explore the city and look for my answer. Also gave me a valve wheel thing because apparently I'll be needing this. She's just so kind. She then disappeared and I moved forward. I got to this part with a breakable wall, missed the first dynamite somehow because of the fence, and then hurt myself with a second toss because I had to get close. Before heading to the right, I went to the left through the door, collected the 17th comic from this guy, and then opened the closet to legit skeletons and the 28th baseball card. My word, someone actually has skeletons in their closet. After that, I opened up the train cart right here and went further on. After a bit of traveling around, I made it to the water room where the old true lady was right. I would need a valve as a main line broke in here and I need to shut it off. Once I did, I had to defend the pipes and say hi to some more goons. The other valve broke, however, and now the water is rising and I need to go and find a second valve to shut it off. Even though I could just use the first valve on it as well, like valves don't have to stay on for the pipes to stay closed. Anyways, parkoured my way up top while saying hi to people, coming out of there to a big fighting area and the second valve dropping there. But of course, some tomfoolery happened and a magnet stole it from me, running away on a predetermined path and I had to try and keep up. After fighting then climbing this ladder, I got the third schematic and then, you guessed it, after even more fighting, I made it to a spot with the old true lady. Before talking to her though, I parkoured my way up top and looted the safe. Nice chunk of change. Going to need a ton to get that baseball card and win 30 games. Then talking to her, she kept on teasing me and leading me on. Not like that, and gave me a key to open the next door. Before grabbing the second valve though, I took the trampoline up to these pipes. Then jumped over here to grab our 22nd newspaper. Now, I'm not sure if these numbers are important, but I did notice this piece of paper that Jack can't collect. Take a picture of, or even comment on. It reads 2019, and then coming down and going to the second valve, I saw more numbers right here, 3125. Interesting. Maybe it's for a super special secret safe up ahead? I then grabbed the valve and, once again, the ground below me broke and I fell into a large box arena. Jack then pulls some spinach out of his gooch and we become the Hulk. Beating the ever-living soul out of these goons was several rounds of this and I kind of filled the floor with their bodies. They just wouldn't stop coming. Pause. Very lucky for me after the fight, I was able to fully stock up on all ammo and health. Grabbing another clue on the desk, we're finally free to move on. The clue was some strange map that Jack nor I understand what it's for. I'm sure he'll figure it out after the next mission, however, as he's a genius. Up the stairs, I got the 23rd newspaper on this chair and got jumped by Turbo Tubby. Following the fence wall around the building, I lockpicked the safe and managed to get our 4th schematic. Sadly, the final one for this mission. I can't get a weapon to tier 3. Long story short now, I dove into the water and used the second valve. All water went bye-bye, met up with the old lady Shrew, and basically got nothing from this place, and she pretended that I did. As the journey is what's important, not the end goal. Which, she isn't really wrong. Before taking the elevator out of here, I was finally able to go around this fence, into this Mario pipe finally, and grab the 27th baseball card on this table. We're now completely done with this mission. Driving back to the PI office, I'm very sadly short on buying another baseball card and upgrading my weapons. So I went and added all of the clues we gathered to the board and somehow resolving a lead and unlocking another main mission. A location in the quagmire where the shrews were dragged to, which it sounds like it's a no man's land. A wasteland. I talked to Bozo next, and I guess he had a lead on where we should go for the murder of Mr. Kurt. Jack says most of our cases lead to the circus where Mr. Kurt died, and that's all I really got from this. Before heading out though, I talked to the girl we rescued from the horror slump, and she threatened to call her dad if we don't get her something fun from the circus. It's kinda crazy how she's threatening to use a Ouija board on me for some balloons, but it's another side mission I need to complete. I drove over to the circus area, entered the secret show level, and we had to climb through some boxes till we made it to the entrance of the crime scene. I believe these are actual cops, like not the crooked ones, and I had to sneak past them. I guess they don't care if they see someone swing over a wall to go into the crime scene area. So after being Christine Gnome again, I climbed up these boxes to get our 5th schematic. A little bit later, after crawling through this vent, I crawled through another one, got enough money for the next baseball card, and got our 18th comic. I went through some doors after that to this small area with a few waves of enemies. No idea how they're here or why the cops don't care about all the gunshots happening, but I took care of business. Got a ticket and opened the next door through that ticket booth. We're now in the scene of the crime. I took a picture of where Mr. Kurt died and then talked to the owner. This is the opening day for the circus and apparently the first time ever that the tightrope walking elephant messed up. The elephant fell off the rope and then landed on Mr. Kurt, killing him. Before talking to the elephant, I was heading up the stairs and going to the left. I got the 24th newspaper. If I want to progress through this place, I need to get 4 tickets to proceed. I give 1 for completing tasks down here. I then talk to the clown janitor, and he for some reason taught me another skill, wall running. It's a bit awkward to use as you just have to trust the process, but you can run on a wall, then double jump afterwards to make it across this obstacle course that Roblox would be jealous of. There's our elephant in the next room. I don't know why it shocked me, but the guy can talk. It sounds like he's somewhat innocent and doesn't know what happened. Even he's surprised that he fell off of the rope. He wasn't much help until I ran along this wall, went right above him, and grabbed the 25th newspaper right before taking a picture of some blue cheese in a bucket. In this universe, blue cheese is apparently a drug. A big no-no. Elephant Man over here was panicking that it was still there, but started to talk to me about his cheese dealer giving it to him. But something was off. It tasted funny and had the smell of perfume on it. So our poor boy here was drugged, and that's why he fell off of the rope. So who's his dealer? Swinging my way up here and saying hi to the goons, I overheard this couple talking about some hot mouse. Their words, not mine, in the balcony. Maybe she has something to do with Mr. Kurt. I followed this vent up here, got a balcony key, and then traveled over here to the beginning room, where I put my first ticket in to gain access to the crime scene area. This time, I was able to go upstairs and through this door, grabbing the 6th figurine in this room. Turning around, I went through Mario's pipe and saw this safe. I don't know why. I think I was just waking up here or something, but this safe heavily confused me, locking me, and I reloaded to the last safe, which was a while ago. Yippee me. Rushing back to the safe, this time I wasn't stupid, and I managed to open it for the 6th schematic. Somewhat worth it. I then returned to the previous room and did a super cool double jump crouch move to get into this room and get some gold. I thought there'd be more stuff here, but I was wrong. Returning to the crime scene area, I put in the 2 tickets I got so far. One from the elephant, and I don't know how I got the second one. For the 3rd ticket, I had to go through this door into the floor is lava room. Tons of walls to run on, trampolines with fire hoops, an actual super fun area. I'm just really bad and kept on taking stupid damage, especially right here with these vertically challenged mice blowing up bombs on me. Nearly died, but I am John Mouse and survived it. Once I said hi to all of the waves of cultists, I got the 3rd ticket. The 4th and final ticket was this shooting mini game with enemies popping out at random spots and having to kill them before they reached me. I usually won this one with perfect accuracy. I wouldn't be shocked if I got banned for the devs thinking I used a name bot, but I returned to the ticket booth and put in all 4 tickets, unlocking a very important area. I said hi to the cultists in here first, jumped up on top of this roof, and grabbed the 26th newspaper. Then waddled my way over here to get the 7th schematic. Did this minigame for shooting bottles, had an invisible wall right here so the final bottle was annoying to hit, but I got our first of 2 tickets I need to enter the next room. Then went through a vent and ended up getting a ton of cash in this area, which I need to be up there to get the next collectible. So heading up there, I saw the balloon box I need for the side mission, and I had to pay this ghost $25 to get it, even though no one was there, so I'm not sure why I had to pay. Now jumping across the pit and into the window, I grabbed the 28th baseball card. I then did the throw a TNT into the window minigame, which confused me for the longest of times. Couldn't figure out what else I had to do as I threw over 15 TNTs into both windows. It turns out there was a 3rd window. Whoops. I got our 2nd ticket and opened up the last door that would need tickets. Inside of here, I lockpicked the door, blew open the barrels, and went through the vent system to get the 29th baseball card. I then ate the super hot pepper and had a shootout with the cultists again. Actually difficult here and almost died, but with the power of Gnome, I got through the dogs and cultists. I also got the 8th schematic inside of the head, and that was the final collectible for the level. Once I was able to go through the mouth, there they are. The chief of police and the German scientist. They were crunching some numbers and doing some nerdy evil things. They were surrounded by shrews in cages, and we would have to make ourselves known to them soon to stop them, or just watch them explode from a TNT, and there goes half of the cases we were working on. What? This part genuinely surprised me, as I wasn't expecting them to die at all. I thought they'd run, or we'd fight the chief of police. No, we're now fighting a hitman that teleports away the second you look at him. The only saving grace here, I'm John Mouse, and the dude has very low health. My Tommy gun did an incredible amount of damage to him, and I luckily had enough health to tank him. But my word, it was hard to actually find him. Once I got him to 0 health, the fight ended and he said he's leaving. Maybe we'll see each other again soon, but who knows. He mentions that he has a bookkeeper and that they're Western. A possible leads to go on. When he left, I talked to the shrews and told them I would release them. The guy to the left then says that he was rewarded with a steamboat ticket from the chief of police. He definitely didn't steal it, and for rescuing them all, I can have it. I then proceeded to not release them and return back to the office. offices. I gave the girl the box of balloons, she gave me the 30th baseball card, and I bought the 31st baseball card from the store. Only one last one to buy. Then I can save up for the 30 baseball games. And now back to the clue board. I placed down everything I had and resolved another lead. With everything we learned from the hitman, we need to go to some western place. I guess the guy gave us a massive hint with a western word. But as I was looking over the other clues, a BMP agitator was heard outside. This early 1940s German mouse was on the sidewalk causing a ruckus, and I punched him as one should to all of these types of guys, unlocking the 17th trophy, her flick of the wrist, for punching one of them. The next main mission we're doing, Swamp Oddity. It doesn't have a side mission, just a lot of collectibles. I drove over to the right to the quagmire and began it. We start out on top of a bridge, not the one with PewDiePie, and immediately got into a fight. It was an actual fun start to the level, and I fought my way all the way down the ramps and made it to a boat. I then took a romantic boat ride with myself and shot the flying goons while going around in a circle. Climbing up and then saying hi to the rest here, I got the 27th newspaper on the wall. I grabbed this key and got back to the boat to return to the beginning bridge spot. I then had to lower this bridge, said hi to the goons here, lowered the other bridge, said hi to the goons here, and finally, climbing these cages, then jumping onto this platform, I got the 4th schematic. Working my way now towards the shack in here. This might surprise you, but I was welcomed by more goons. So far, this level has only been a firefight, just non-stop fighting, and I'm not complaining. They're actually giving me ammo this time. But once I cleared everyone out and went inside, the old true lady was here again. She tells me that the lady who owned this house, she built it herself after quitting her office job. A few years later, that same company bought the land she built on and kicked her out. Turns out, she was a witch. Exploring this house, I truly believe it. I need to find a diamond key to enter the room behind the old true lady. Maybe that room will have the clues for where the shrews are being sent. It's why we're here. I said hi to the goons in this room, entered the music room, collected the 19th comic, and I played the letters A, C, E, and G onto this piano. From a music sheet I saw near the old true lady. Doing so, I unlocked a secret room. Leaving this room teleported me back to the beginning room with the old lady. The dresser was open now, and I can go into the secret room. I grabbed the 32nd baseball card from this guy, as he won't need it anymore, and then lockpicked the 5th schematic from this safe. Returning to the big room I had a shootout in, I went into the office this time and took out Turbo Tubby. I obtained the 6th schematic right here, and then in the room right next to us, behind this desk with a key on it, I grabbed the 28th newspaper. The objectives kind of repeated after that, but not in a bad way. To summarize this entire mission, so this video isn't too long, I'm really trying to keep it around 90 minutes for you guys from now on. I worked my way to a dark room. Inside was a secret clue for the mission, and told me that the magician, Steve, is still connected to this. He was here, or nearby. I grabbed the 7th schematic on the back side of the house, then had to rotate this statue to face the house, opening up the door to go back inside. I got the diamond key, and then went to the special locked room that the old true lady was in front of. I made my way out of the house after all of that, which, again, super sick level. I love how they made each room's door be a teleporter to just throw you somewhere random in the house. It's super disorienting and awesome. Making it outside, though, I got into one last shootout with the cops. Walking near this sign, it was the same symbol as the card clue from the German scientists when the hitman blew them all up. The shrews are being brought over to the nut house. Kind of a genius place to put them, sort of. Also, with learning that clue, I unlocked the 18th trophy, Secrets of the Shrew Shortage, for finding key clues in the case. I then returned home, bought a newspaper from the kid, but for some odd reason, it says I have 28 newspapers instead of 29. Interesting, maybe I'm only at 28? I really hope nothing got messed up for me. I really don't want to hunt all of the newspapers again on a new campaign. The next main mission I'm doing is to catch a mocking mouse. This one has 2 side missions that, for the life of me, I could not find. It turns out both of them are obtained in the mission itself. Phew! So I first talked to Stilton to see if he knew anything about this steamboat ticket. Turns out, he does. Basically, it's a high-profile event that happens yearly. He's always invited but never goes. We have the ticket, but we're not on the list, so we can't go. Thanks to Stilton, though, we can now go as his representative. Perfect. So I drove over to the docks and entered the River Fever line. We began in the bottom of the boat and had to work our way upwards. Stopping right here to take a picture of these newlyweds, which honestly was really depressing. it actually made me feel sad for them. They just got married but can't take time off of work and wanted a picture to at least remember something of their special day in the broiler room because they have to keep working. That side story out of the way, I went up top and there's red banded German mice everywhere on this boat. I couldn't just walk around wherever I want. This bouncer wouldn't let me. Instead, I needed to find a membership card first. Then I could walk anywhere. After the bouncer part, I went to the left, parkoured, and walked around till I made it to the bathrooms, finding the 20th comic in the stall. Next up, I needed to find these side missions. So, sneaking through this room and to this vent, I made it to a party room and found our first guy. The dude is an alpha male influencer loser and thinks his wife is cheating on him. He's too Sigma to go and find her, so he wants me to do it. I need to find her and take a picture of her with whoever she's with. The other side mission, number 10, is on the second deck and is a secret agent for the Eternal Affairs. Oh boy, he wants me to go and get some pictures of key German mice here. With both of them acquired, it's time to go and knock some stuff out. The first side quest, heading down these stairs and in the window, is the loser's wife with some random mouse. I snapped a picture and gave it to the beta male. He was mad and gave me 50 gold, completing the 9th side mission. For the secret agent, I went up to deck 3 and in front of the band playing. For some reason, these guys didn't get mad at me for taking their picture, but I snapped it here and then turning it into the guy. Wow, so generous. He gets a promotion at work and I get 2 gold out of that. Thank you, kind sir. I hope you don't get fired when you return to work. I returned to the bouncer, I showed him the card, and was finally in the important section of the boat for the main mission. I walked into the first deck kitchen, took the Mario pipe to the second deck kitchen, grabbed the storage key, and went into that Mario pipe. This is when I messed up and, for the first time, locked myself out of getting 2 more schematics. I did grab our 4th one on this deck, which was nice. In the other room in here, I grabbed the captain's key, which is what I should have left and gone to that room for it, but I didn't. Instead, I went to where the mission wanted me to go to, the party room. I then snapped a photo of Mr. Sims, who is the chief of police, so I guess he didn't die with the German mouse like how I thought? My bad for getting that wrong, but I took his photo. Unlocked the 19th trophy, our lesser brothers, for wrapping up the shrew shortage case. Mr. Sims, however, noticed I'm here and took a photo of him. I've now locked myself out of getting 2 of those schematics at this point. Honestly, it won't matter. We'll be fine, maybe. But I now have the boss fight. I can't let this man get away. I had to fight waves of enemies constantly coming out to stop me, but I kept on saying hi to them and then using the World War II anti-air cannons on the boat, which, why are these on the boat? But I shot down the captain's plane, having him fly directly into the boat and dying. The boat is now on fire and we need to escape. Heading down below the boat now, we need to work our way through the area we began this mission on. I then found the 5th schematic right here in a cage while escaping, really nice, and finally reached a spot without flames. I met this dying shrew, which I don't know why he accepted his fate. Like, there's a literal health potion right next to him, but he luckily told me how to escape this place. If I make it up to the captain's deck, like not his room with the schematic, but you know, where they pilot the boat, there's an, get this, inflatable airplane in there that I can blow up and escape on. For some reason, the German mice kept fighting me along the way there. I don't know why they're not trying to leave this place, but I digress. I made it into the room and grabbed the plane. A nice cutscene played afterwards, and Jack was completely ruined. Mr. Sims was his hero. Now learning, you should never meet your heroes. He returns to the bar and gets drunk on cheese there, talking to John Brown about everything, opening that special bottle of cheese they've been saving, talking about how we finished the missing shrews case. John wasn't thrilled though, but it was nice to solve this case and the shrews are returning home. But apparently this happens a lot. Maybe in a week or a month, another evil thing will happen to the shrews. But he didn't want to crap on the good news too much. He was happy his people were rescued for now. I then talked to Stilton about it ending and he explained why he picked us for the mission. He thinks we're one of the few good people left, since we know how bad things can get and how to fix them because Jack was in the war. He was awarded a Purple Heart. We were the best person to solve this case. And while we were solving it, he was working on making sure it wouldn't happen again, making sure the crooked cops were gone. Really nice words coming from him, but this isn't the end. We still have several other cases to finish. I'm still worried that the game doesn't realize that I have 29 newspapers right now, but with 1100 gold, I went and bought the final baseball card from the store, the 30-second baseball card. Now, all of the money I get goes towards that baseball card game for the trophies. We got the 11th side job from Tammy, and we're now heading over to the Western Hollywood area. We're checking out the spot to see if we can find the bookkeeper the hitman told us about, back when he blew up the German scientist mouse. So I drove over to the Western back lot and headed in. This might surprise you, but it's like we're in a Western movie. There are saloons and other old wooden buildings, everything, you know? So I fought some enemies and went into the bank. I tried talking to the bookkeeper right there, but this chicken wouldn't say anything. He's too scared of the mafia killing him if he speaks. But he did confirm that he's our guy we're looking for. He then runs off. I unlock his door and go behind his counter to grab the 29th newspaper. I chased after him, but sadly, a train came by and blocked off the path. We now need to take the super long way. I fought through some more enemies, and once I reached this building, the floors kept on falling out underneath us. Reaching a cave system, I grabbed the 6th schematic on this box. Once I made it past that train blocking me, jumping up here where enemies just were, I grabbed the 21st comic and then reached this canyon parkour section. After all of that, I finally caught up to our guy when jumping onto this beam, of course, it turns out we got a detour again. I said hi to the goons and jumped over this box to grab the 34th baseball card. Once I made it out of the beam section and a ton of flying, there was an extra standing outside telling me where the bookkeeper went. But to her left on the wall is the poster that Tammy wanted. I think the side mission was her finding out we were coming to this movie studio area and she wanted some kind of drama poster. After a bit of running, I made it to this train movie scene with an actual mini train moving in circles on a track. I took out all of the enemies here, ton of money in this place, which is lovely, and leaving this place, I saw the bookkeeper running away and telling me he'd give me the book. It sounds like he's over all of this. Or he was before the piano landed on him, killing him. When I left the building and looked to the left, I went behind the gravestone and I got the 35th baseball card. I then grabbed his little note, which told me there's a dead drop with his ledger in it. Also sounds like some scary people might be there. I then said hi to more goons and had to swing across this open area to a safe. Inside of the safe is the 7th schematic. Returning back to the cliff side and going through this hole, I said hi to more goons and found the 8th schematic on the wall. Fast forward a bit through the underground train track area, I had a shootout in the spot while waiting for the bridge to drop. Was a little tough with all of the areas they can come through. And Turbo Tubby was not making it any easier, but with the bridge down, I need to find a way into this room. Parkouring over these boxes and heading down this train track, I found our 9th schematic right here. Once I grabbed the key, a train spawned in and I had to outrun it back to the building. I opened the gate and stepped aside to see the train teleport right into the wall. Lockpicking the door and grabbing that ledger, it has our evidence. They actually wrote down the murder of Betty. I then took the Quitophone and returned to the PI office to talk to Vivian about her friend's assassination. Right after I turn in the 11th side job to Tammy and get 3 schematics out of it. Okay, now for the trippy part, which again, actually surprised me. I don't know, I feel like the devs actually hired a very good writing team for this game. So far, the outcomes have actually been surprising me, and I can't even tell what's going to happen at the end of the cases, which is exactly what happened here. If I'm understanding this part correctly, Jack is claiming that Vivian is part of the mob. She's a dame that is drowning in death certificates, and once I told her how Mr. Kurd spilled the beans to us, he died. She was also not surprised at all that he died. We tell her we know she killed him, not that poor innocent elephant. Before we could handcuff her and bring her into the police, she smooched us and disappeared. We now need to go and find her, but not before I put all of the clues I've gathered onto the board. This thing is nearly completely full, my goodness. The next main mission is One Flew. We're now investigating the nut house, where I'm pretty sure this is the shrew case, or maybe it's linked to the missing magician. If I'm being honest, Dave, I'm pretty lost on why we're going to each location now. I need a bit more holding from the game to tell me what we're doing, but since we completed the shrew case, maybe this is for the missing magician or Betty case? Anyways, I drove over to the Kurtzville nut house. We got the 12th side job in here from Tammy. She wants us to take a picture of the alleged fancy rich people party that goes on in this place. Apparently, the asylum is a front for their parties and she wants proof. But that'll be a bit later into the level. Long story short, we start out in the sewer part of the building and I have to fight my way upwards into the cells section, trying to get through these checkpoints, and this looks more like a prison than a nut house. Once I made it past the first cells and into the control room, I got a secret missable clue and unlocked the 20th trophy, Burdens of Betty Blue, for finding all key clues in the Blue Betty case. Lovely. So maybe we're here for the Betty case? Once I open up the security checkpoint from the control room, heading inside was a big mistake. The doors closed and a mysterious gas began pumping through these pipes. Shockingly, it didn't kill me, but the gas is messing with our head now. We're seeing things. The world is moving. Jack is very out of it. For some reason, we're seeing Millie here, the daughter of Mr. Kurd, and she's teasing us for being dumb and teleporting away. We now need to chase after her for some reason, and before doing that, I jumped into the water, found the secret area in the center, killed some goons, and grabbed the 13th schematic. I then had to run around the place, shoot some targets, do parkour, and then lower this bridge to reach Millie, which she teleported away again. And I got into another firefight. Walking through here, there's a brain in a tube, but before I talked, I grabbed our 14th schematic and a note that has music notes on it again, saying Cage. I believe this is for the side job. Now, this brain, well, it's a bit bizarre. I'm fairly certain this is the brain of the leader of Germany in World War II, and he wants me to fill him up with ink, of course. I don't know what you were thinking, Zach, but yeah, I had to go ahead, raise this brain into this giant tube, and then head down to fill him up. I thought I had to kill the guys first, but luckily Jack said to kick them, so I kicked them into the beds in each corner. Their ink went into the tube, filling it up halfway, repeated it again, and got the crap kicked out of me. But I filled up the tube and then returned the brain back to the original tube. Talking to him, he sounds normal now? Like no longer sounding like a robot brain from Fallout New Vegas. And we actually unlocked the next weapon, the Jarhead gun, which had a really cool animation for unlocking it. We high-fived the gun. I can't lie, this thing sucks. Does absolutely no damage, but it's a bit silly. I'm sure the tier 3 version is going to be amazing. Before talking to Millie here, I went through the Mario tube to grab the 15th schematic and then grabbing the 22nd comic on this wheelchair. Making it back to Millie, talking to her gave us absolutely nothing comprehensible. Yeah, it's almost like Jack is going insane here, and get this, she teleported away again. Determined, Jack still wants to chase her down. Before moving forward though, I went to the piano and typed in the word Cage onto it. A bridge opened up, and heading over there is Gloria. Pretty sure we saw her at the first movie theater lot when we were beginning the Betty case, but I took a photo of her finishing the 12th side job for Tammy. Heading back to the center, the doors closed and more goons came out to stop me. This was a massive fight section that almost killed me, and I've got to say this now. After playing through the game this much, Dave, the Tommy gun is the only useful weapon. It can't hurt you like the cannonball launcher, which always hits a wall or floor near you instead of the enemy. It has range, damage, huge magazine size, decent accuracy. I love using this weapon so much, as all of the others kinda suck, but my word, do they not give you much ammo for this thing. Now, after nearly dying and pushing forward, we made it to the laundry section. A crazy section with eyes in the ceiling. It's like Jack is finally starting to realize that he's insane right now, that the gas he inhaled isn't normal or good. It was a bit of shoot 'em and pull levers section. Finally making it to the top to open the other window and glide over. Once we exited the laundry room, I took the Mario pipe to a secret area, did some parkour on the pipes to then grab the 36th baseball card. I then did some insane parkour back to the Mario pipe to return to Millie in a shorter way. Like, no chance I'd run through this entire place again just to make it back there. So talking to her, Jack now realizes she isn't real. What a shocker. The teleporting girl is fake. She shows us the way out of this place, the elevator in the center room. Before going there though, I jumped on top of the building roof to lockpick the safe and grabbed the 16th schematic. Then I fought the remaining goons and went up the elevator. You would think this is when the level ends and we return to the PI office. No, walking past the sliding door, we walk in on a teleporter? A time machine? The Jarhead gun can't talk to us anymore, so Jack is really seeing this. The gas he smoked earlier is gone. Going in, we're in a crazy place. Like, even for me to move around, you can go left or right, but they lead to the exact same area. So I went through the door. Same thing with this hallway. It doesn't matter which way you go to the same spot. Then we arrive back at the PI office. Except, something is slightly off. It's not exactly how the office used to be. Running up to the roof of the bar, I grabbed the 17th schematic and then continued onwards. Finally finding some enemies, and we're back with the German mice. Instead of heading over the fallen giant pencil, I went to the left side and grabbed the 23rd comic. In the distance, we can see a magician standing in a giant top hat. I'm assuming it's Steve, the missing magician, especially since the mission title is literally that, but backwards. Where the hell is Steve Vandal? Reaching him, he just teleports away and going through the hat. We're now on the boat where we shot down Mr. Sims and he crashed into the boat. Going upstairs, I grabbed the 18th schematic on a crate, then found my way through a ton of enemies to turn on the train track, and then to shoot this target to send a cart down for us. Well, more of a bathtub cart? Hopping in it, we're going towards a very friendly looking statue and a flaming portal. Inside, you guessed it, we're now in hell. The entire game was so normal and realistic until this point. I don't know what the devs were on making this, but I'm so curious what the end of the level is gonna be like. The next cool spot was a bar. I said hi to the demons in here. This one is straight up from Doom, and I won't lie, this game is making me want to play Doom, but I really don't know if I got it in me to platinum it. Aiming on a controller would definitely hold me back. Right on the counter, I grabbed the 30th newspaper, and right behind the counter is the 7th figurine. For the next 10-ish minutes, it was straight mayhem and fighting. This hell fight arena felt identical to Doom. I even got another weapon in here. A skull chainsaw thing, which, probably because it's the base damage right now. This thing sucks. I had to keep on fighting waves of demons while blowing into these horns to open up the jump pads into the next section. Once I did that, I dodged some hammers and made it to a door. Going inside, we're back at the beginning hallway, and then opening it to the fake PI office. Steve then steals my car and slams it into a building, launching it into the sky. I fought my way forward on some giant objects, and we're back to normal enemies. Following Steve, he's hiding in a pencil sharpener now. Turning on the power, I made the gears start turning. Making it up and heading to the left first, I was able to get behind some bars that were locked before, grabbing the 20th schematic. Like, not to be repetitive here, but it was basically all the same. Just run here, shoot this target, open up a new pathway, chase Steve. I can't lie, this is the only level where I was hoping it would end as I was playing it. It's just incredibly long, weird, and I really want to get back to the real PI office so I can upgrade my stuff, you know, turn in Tammy's mission and get back to the story of the game. Once I caught up to Steve, sort of, it was a Scooby-Doo hallway situation that I loathed. I love Scooby-Doo, absolutely adore it, but this section took me about 5 minutes of randomly running around, nothing working. No matter what door I took, this is an infinite hallway. Any door you take leads you back here to the center. Really annoying after a while, and finally, checking this door, the back right one, we entered a hallway and then finally made it to Steve's lair, which confused me at first, but this boss fight, also not a fan of it. I don't know. After the Doom sections, I really lost interest in this level. It took too long. This boss fight is also pretty lame and long. You just wait for a card to display, then you go and stand on a card with the same symbol. Took like 5 minutes, and if you die, you redo the entire fight. Finally, Steve stopped being a goober and realized it's us. If he always knew, I don't know why he kept trying to kill us. The gist of what he says, he worked with a German scientist to help him discover this realm we're in, the unknown. Him and the scientist were close to discovering it, so they teamed up. Steve found out the only missing thing to find this place was ink, which I believe is the blood of everyone. He mentioned the shrews. The German scientists loved the idea of using the shrews. What a shocker. Steve is now hiding in this place because he doesn't want to pay people back or work with them anymore and is waiting for everything to settle down, which it might not ever do. Now, we mentioned the portal back in the nut house. He asked us to go and destroy it. Bada boom, bada bing, basically everything said. Oh, and he wanted to find this place because of his wife dying, which I believe is Betty. I guess this place can bring her back. Anyways, I went through the magic mirror and finally arrived to our PI office. My goodness, that took like 2 hours to return here. I need to go and talk to Wanda about what just happened, but I'm running to Tammy first to turn in the 12th side job, which got me 3 more schematics. Now sitting at 23. I talked to Wanda and told her everything. Very surprisingly, she believed me on my adventure. She also realized when I said the German scientist, she heard reports about this U-boat popping up at the docks, which I just want to say, I'm so incredibly confused. Did I get it wrong back with the hitman when he tossed dynamite and it killed the chief of police and the German scientist? Was that not the same Mr. Sims I killed in that plane boss fight and the German scientists we're chasing right now? Was that completely different people? If it was, why did Jack say half of his cases are now over when talking to the hitman? Like, I swear, I am paying a lot of attention to the game. I'm adoring it and I love it, but man, the story is confusing me a ton here. Now, with that done, I drove over to the movie lots again for the Fatal Repulsion mission. We need to deal with Vivian. It was kind of cool getting in here and watching her her and Reggie on the TV. It was like a sitcom. Then in the next room, it's a house setup. I said hi to Goons, and behind the bush on the right, the 24th comic. We're so close to being done with collectibles, it's insane. Inside of the house, it's the pyrotechnic lady from the first movie lot we went to. She told us how we can reach Vivian, and it won't be easy. We gotta do a lot of levers, opening stuff, fighting. It should be a fun time. And this is when I was truly shocked. I even did the slow movement and fake gameplay that companies do whenever they're showing off their games at the Game Awards shows, or some announcement show. You know what I'm talking about, right? It was the first time ever in this game that we got color. It's been over a week since I've played anything with color, and this stunned me. Everything looks so incredibly cool and beautiful. Like, I know they're releasing DLC for this game, and I truly hope they make one of them with color like this room. It felt like I was walking through a 3D Cuphead. Anyways, glazing aside, go to the back of the room. Behind these fake trees, I grabbed the 37th baseball card. Nice. Once I was finished looting the room and loving the scenery, I went to the left door first. Inside, Vivian recreated her office. I don't know if Jack is this cliche or if she's that crazy to recreate it all, but on our fake desk, the 31st newspaper. I then crawled through a vent and ended up in a swamp. Then fought through this giant room, tons of enemies, worked my way up to another vent. Finally, after a while, making my way to a courtroom with a judge that looks pretty similar to Vivian, but surely not her. I was found guilty of crimes against the art and now have to fight a lot of goons. Technically not really, but I didn't notice the boss health bar at the top for quite some time. Instead, I was really focused on killing the dozens of enemies non-stop coming at me. Not like that. And I never had a second to shoot the judge. Once I found out about the judge, I got to shooting and quite barely managed to win. I almost died maybe 5 times in here. I kind of wish I reloaded my save and redid this. Like, I used up over half of my cheese health packs. Once the fight was over, I jumped into the hole, went through the vent, came out up top, and then flipped the first of 2 switches I need to continue onwards. The other switch begins with this castle scene. Amazingly enough, it's Beauty and the Beast. Touching the cactus will make the beast growl, and it rise into the air. I then went through the door that fell down, and it's a big fight in the dungeon area. Once everyone died from mysterious circumstances, the room began to fill up with water. After a ton of swimming and trying to find it, going to this fridge, I grabbed the 38th baseball card in it. Then going up to the air on this ledge and under the pipe, while running over to this fan, but not going up yet. Just behind it on the ground is the 32nd newspaper, which also counts towards a secret clue. As well, it has the German My Soldiers with a red armband. Oof. Almost done in the castle part, just made it to this room. Enemies pushed a nice painting off of the wall, said hi to them all, and then heading into this vent, there's a safe all the way down here that had some difficulty to it. Was fun, and I grabbed the 16th schematic inside of it. Now comes the most annoying boss fight I think I've ever dealt with. This stupid beast teleports. It will teleport when you look at him. You can't get close to him. Throws exploding candles at you that'll literally remove all of your armor in 1 hit. Then all of your health in 4 hits. Insanely overpowered, and reloading a save to do the fight again, you're instantly being hit, losing all armor. I think this took me maybe 10 tries to beat him, which I found a way to cheese him by standing on top of the stairs up here and just positioning the railing between him and you. It didn't even get hit. So this fight was really hard, but nowhere near as hard as the Golden Bot challenge on Astrobot. My word. I then took a Mario pipe, hit the second switch, and once I landed on the ground, Vivian and Reggie opened their blinds, and it's time to fight. Vivian obviously walked away, so it's between me and Reggie. I was so confused by this fight. I can't tell if he's glitched or if the devs made him hilarious and his gun is a prop gun, because he never shot me. The fire and bombs he used sure could hurt me, and the goons he called in to kill me sure hurt, but after shooting him a ton, he ran away to ask me to do a fist fight. Really confused why Jack agreed to it. I absolutely don't want to with only like 40 health remaining. I'm being stubborn and refusing to use my cheese health packs. Just like his silly pistol, I don't think he's meant to just stand in the fire and slowly die, so you don't have to fight him, right? Like, surely that's not how that was supposed to end. Speaking of ending, I unlocked the 21st trophy here, Tinsel Boulevard, for wrapping up Blue Betty's case, which makes sense once I took the Mario pipe up to their room, grabbed the 17th schematic off of their desk, and ran after Vivian. She lifted the ladder, dropped a note, and she has a crush on Jack. Maybe. At the end, she wrote that BMP killed Betty. The German mice did it. who knows why. We return to the PI office through a cutscene, and it really feels like everything is coming to an end. We're getting close to solving everything. I then place the 2 clues I got onto the board, and now to go tell Wanda everything we learned. Talking to her, I at least learned Vivian wasn't all that evil. Like, she really did hire us to try and find out why her friend died. She just found out why first. And that was basically it. Also, Jack is insanely heartbroken about her leaving. My man fell hard for her. The last 2 side jobs for this entire game are with this glugging from the deep mission. I first talked to Bozo, who wants me to check on his criminal friend. That might be at the bottom of the dock water. And the final job is from John Brown, who wants me to grab another absolutely disgusting food item for his next masterpiece dish. A can of sea slugs. Delish. With those gathered, I drove over to the docks and entered the level. Fart Harbor, which I can't help but believe is a shout out to Far Harbor from Fallout 4. Right off the bat, once I said hi to the goons in here and found the correct vent, traveling through it, I grabbed the 39th baseball card. Just 2 left. I then returned to the beginning of the level and jumped up to enter this Mario pipe. Heading through it and into this room, on the table is the 18th schematic. Now, if my counting is correct, which I think it is, this should be the last schematic I need. Like, I'm pretty sure each weapon takes 9 schematics to max out, and I only need 2 more weapons. Hopefully I'm right. Next important spot was the port. As soon as I arrived, I had to say hello to a few rounds of goons and crooks. Once I was finally left alone, we got a lot to do. So, heading to the left side, I grabbed the nasty can of food for John Brown, finishing that side job. Next, I saw an X on the wall and blew it up. Taking the Mario pipe to this spot and grabbing the 33rd newspaper off of a crate. Back at the port, I jumped over this fence, and to my surprise, you can actually get back here. Noticing the small wooden platform below, I guess I also surprised the devs as they began to talk to me in this awesome secret room. Like, no idea what any of the words say, I don't speak German, but the devs then talked to the other devs and said I shouldn't be back here. I need to return to the game. To entice me to leave though, they gave me some money and, to my surprise, the 8th figurine. Only 2 more to go. I then took the Mario pipe back and looked around for more collectibles. I found another Mario pipe, which led me to a pretty creepy couple in this apartment. The husband left and was very strange about it, making me think he was coming back with some fighters. The wife then wanted me to stay and relax. I'm so good, so I left. Then found this secret spot on top of the roof and got some money, which led me to the fence cage, which I saw a vent up here. Going inside, I think this is the husband from that creepy apartment. I grabbed the 19th schematic off of the wall, and he paid me to leave too. Nice. After all of that collecting, I went over to the other harbor section. Kinda hard to explain that with a harbor everywhere, but Tammy is here. I told her I'm here chasing that German scientist, but he disappeared in a submarine. She told me I just need a diving suit to go and find that schmuck. I need 3 pieces. 1, the boots, can be gathered from Eddie in the train cart, which I got the 25th comic from that same cart. Then, funny enough, returning to that creepy couple's apartment, I can get the diving helmet there, which I'm now realizing Eddie, the poor alcoholic drug-using worker in the train cart, his wife is cheating on him, I think. Lastly, all I need is the diving suit, which I just had to explore my way over to the boat and head inside. Tons of enemies in here, and I said hi to them all. I then grabbed the suit and worked my way back to Tammy. Before jumping off the boat, though, I grabbed the 40th baseball card in this crate, which is the last card I need to collect.
Oh, but Skies, you only have 40 out of 41 baseball cards. You're not done.
Well, Sabrina, if you'd give me a second to explain, goodness me, the 41st baseball card is a reward for finishing Bozo's side quest, the only one remaining for me to do. I just need to snap a pic of his friend underwater and I get the card. Returning to Tammy, she puts the suit together for me and I walked into the shark cage. We get lowered down, and the funniest thing for me, if you look closely, especially against dark objects, you can actually see Jack's face reflecting off of the glass helmet. Funny little detail there. But down here, I think this is a nice feature actually. Like, you don't move slow or have any effects of being underwater. I personally kinda enjoy that. So after a bit of walking around and shooting some goons, I had to shoot the ball sack of some giant fish to get by. Once I made it to this little hidden room, I lockpicked the safe and got the 20th schematic. Heading across the bridge, oh my god, it's Bozo's friend who's literally sleeping with the fishes. I love that stupid pun so much. So instead of him being dead, he's just incredibly relaxed and having a good nap. I love this game so much. I guess I didn't need to snap a pic of the guy for Bozo, but both side quests are now done. Gonna get a couple of trophies once we return to the office. Last thing to do here is board the German U-boat and confront the scientist, which is a lot easier said than done. By no surprise, this place is heavily monitored, and he kinda knew I was aboard. Instead of fighting him, I have to go and shoot out his little turrets, which then leaves these pipe looking things unprotected. Destroying the turrets actually removes their force fields, then I can shoot him once and boom, he takes damage. I guess the health is more so on the submarine instead of him. I fought 3 rooms in total of the turrets and pipes. Once I shot them all down, the scientist himself rushed me with some syringe. I said hi to him and he died, getting the last clue I need from him and unlocking the 22nd trophy. Smoke, cheese, and mirrors for wrapping up the missing magician case. Which, I won't lie, I thought the trophy glitched and didn't pop back when we talked to Steve and the unknown. I was so scared I'd have to replay the whole game for it. Luckily, that wasn't our case. So once I activated the power for the diving suit again, I left the sinking submarine and went to the giant dead fish, grabbing the 21st schematic and then returning home. Which, I was stunned, there was no cutscene for the drive back. In here, so much happened. I turned in the side job for John Brown first, and luckily, the food didn't make Jack throw up or be all angry. Then I went to Bozo, who didn't understand that his friend was alive and literally sleeping with the fishes, so he was mad and said he's going to go and check on his friend himself, but he gave me the final baseball card. I now have all 41. First unlocking the 23rd trophy, Card Shark, for collecting all baseball cards. Then unlocking the 24th trophy right after, Real Deal Gumshoe, for completing every side job. It doesn't end there. Once I was done talking to everyone, the conversation I had with Wanda, it looks like the BMP is the responsible party for literally all of our cases. Wanda doesn't believe it though. Surely the German fanatic group that hates everyone except for their own kind would do such evil things. Going to my clue board and putting the final clue up though would beg to differ. Everything points to the BMP, unlocking the 25th trophy. So, whodunit, for pinning every clue in the game to my evidence board. Oh my goodness, so much happened in the span of 5 minutes. But we're not done yet, Dave. Now that I have all baseball cards and nearly 2,500 gold, it's time for me to go and win 30 baseball card games. Luckily, with each single card unlocked, this won't be hard, just very tedious. I banned 3 low-numbered cards that I didn't want to use and began, finally winning the first match, unlocking the 26th trophy. Pocket aces for winning my first baseball card match. And this also gave me a Spike D token. If I get to 20, I can open up that special vending machine. I got 6 already from the side jobs, so I just need 14 more from the matches. Not going to talk about every single match, so I'll just skip to the 30th one, which, funny enough, I never lost a game, and I won the 30th match in a almost perfect 5-0 score. But my goodness, I'm sorry, like I really am, Dave. This trophy was so incredibly boring to go for. It took me about 2 hours to get this, non-stop grinding for it, and I couldn't wait for it to be over. Once I finally got that 30th win, I unlocked the 27th trophy, Sol in the Cards, for winning 30 baseball card games. And then I had 36 of those prize D tokens. Oh, little more than I needed to open this thing. But finally doing so, it's gorgeous. It brings me back to my professional COD zombie days. My goodness, unlocking the 28th trophy. Everybody loves ray guns, and that sure is correct. Weirdly though, I can't upgrade it to tier 3. Really hoping we get that last weapon in the next mission. I then went to bed, and as Jack was finally winding down, it kind of surprised me that apparently everything we've done so far has been one day, but Jack couldn't rest. Nope. We woke up to smoke and the town going up in flames. All of the people I've been fighting so far in this game came here looking for my evidence to hide their crimes. John was at my door knocking, waking me up. He told me somewhat of what's going on, and I told him to hop on my back, as he's vertically challenged. I can help keep him safe as we escape. Tons of enemies kept on blocking my path as we ran through everywhere. Nothing too important, as I strongly don't believe I need these schematics anymore, but I did pick up 2 while running to John's basement. Once in his basement, he has a Mario pipe hidden in here, and I took that to run. After a while, I made it to this pit, which, once I landed here, a giant wave of water came rushing after me. Doing some parkour, I managed to outrun it, and then headed up here to my next save. But before saving, I grabbed the 26 comic. Phew, didn't miss it. Next up was several more run away from the water scenes. This flood really doesn't want to give me up. Felt like I was in Halo again. After a lot of parkouring and barely making it out, I got to this open room with 6 pipes. Figured it was a boss fight, and I was sadly correct. That hitman who killed the first German scientist and chief of police, who turned out to not be them or something, I don't know. I'm still confused who those guys were that he blew up. We're finally settling the score. I genuinely thought this would take me several tries. I thought he would be a lot harder than the beast back in the castle boss fight, but no. Very luckily for me, I killed him on my first try. Then to save my hide, Wanda shouts and she brought my car. No idea how she found me, but I'm so happy she did. We then skedaddled on out of here to some random room. No idea where we are, but for once, Jack had a drink. Then a few hundred more. All of our evidence was gone, and I guess that meant we couldn't go after the BMP group anymore. That was until Steve, the missing magician, appeared in our mirror to help us out. No idea how he found my mirror, also kinda insanely perverted that he can just do this. He tells me how he recorded all of his shady business meetings and doings. It's all on tape in a safe in his mansion. Maybe the bad guys haven't found it yet. So now we're off to his mansion, which is really far away. The level is Bandle's mission, and my word, how on earth did a magician afford all of this? Like, I had to clear out the entire place quite a bit, work my way into the mansion and up onto the second floor. When I made it to this room with a lever, I found some random golden monkey in Steve's bedroom, and I have no idea what this thing is for, but I brought it along with me. Hopefully it's for something good. After dropping down here, I jumped on top of these shelves and went through the vents to grab the 27th comic. Then returned down below, pushed forward, went into this room with 3 massive barrels. Finding the lever let me open up the center one, which had the final gun in the game for us, a freeze gun. Unlocking the 29th trophy. Guns. Lots of guns. Or collecting all non-corporate locked weapons. Lovely. Now to upgrade this thing because, my goodness, it's not that good. But also, for that golden trophy. Later on, I found a total of 3 of those monkeys. One from Steve's bedroom, one on this windowsill from the tower, and the third and final one in a crate after blowing up this wall. I now have 3 golden monkeys and no idea what they're for or where they go. I also found a stone hand that needs an orb, so I went through this door, reached the library, and after I grabbed the orb from up here, I fell because it's a trap. I said hi to a few waves of goons and then I was free. But I noticed 3 pedestals in this room. Possible location for the monkeys. It didn't let me place it on the pedestals, so I figured maybe I just need to drop it on them. It turns out, no, I was just looking at the wrong pedestal. I found that out after I placed the orb in the stone hand. Walls began moving and I can now reach Steve's tower. I returned to the library first and finally placed the golden monkeys in their correct spots, opening up a hidden wall that led to a nice little dungeon with a ton of everything. Also, the 9th figurine. Only one more of those bad boys to go. I also bought that figurine in real life. It turns out there's a Funko Pop of it, and I really wanted it. Returning to those walls that moved and are now floating, I kind of cheated and skipped the parkour section to make it into the tower, lifting the table and finding that secret tape of evidence. Thank you very much, Steve. Now to meet up with Wanda at the World's Fair. Upon arriving, insanely luckily for me, someone left a portable bang machine, so I was able to instantly max out the freeze rate, unlocking the 30th trophy. Well, bang, okay? For upgrading every weapon to tier 3. Several things though. One, I'm so happy I don't need to look for schematics anymore, but it's insane how much extra I have. 2, I swear that trophy title is a homage to the Mass Effect YouTube poop video where that bald dude goes, well, bang, okay? Like, am I right? And 3, even if it is a homage to that video, very weird to have that be the title trophy with a picture of Tammy on it. Like, she's seen as our daughter throughout the game. Anyways, not going to look or mention schematics anymore. They're not important at all. I fought my way through the docks and some warehouses to enter this room with a locked door. Lockpicking it, I found the 28th comic sitting on the floor. Oh my goodness, I'm so close to being done with all of these. The next area was another firefight, but upon entering the warehouse, the shrew wanted to talk. He told me how a crate landed on his friend, and he wants my help to raise it up so everyone can leave. Oh, but also to maybe save his friend, because he totally cares about him. This is when I unlock the final special ability in the game, the Monkey Climb, unlocking the 31st trophy, Tricks of the Trade. I began using the new ability and climbed up to a room with a typewriter and the 34th newspaper. I then turned on the power, the crate rose, and the poor shrews stay smushed on the ground. Next area is a lovely grassy courtyard with more BMP mice everywhere. Was a fairly large fight, but also a lot of fun. Once they were all gone, I went up the stairs and to the left. The 35th newspaper. Looking at this skeleton, I actually found out that the wall wasn't a real wall. Heading through, I actually found the 10th and final figurine. Genuinely, it's very sad that this isn't for a trophy. I don't know why they didn't make it one, but because I went and found them all, I got myself the figurine from the game in real life. I feel like after finding all 10, I deserve it. I then opened the door to a lot of performance stuttering and Wanda. I mentioned to her how I have the tape from Steve's mansion and I need something to play the audio. She says her editor-in-chief has something to play it. I just need to head up to him to do it. So I did just that. However, it turns out the editor-in-chief is very progressive with his love life, but with no morals. He was hooking up with a German mouse and doing cheese shots off of his belly button, so he's not going to be of use. So I had to return to Wanda, tell her the bad news, which she didn't take it well. There goes her job. Wanda actually has morals, but not all is lost. If I make it to the speaker room, I can just play the tape over the speakers, let everyone hear it. After a ton of fighting, I made it to the room, grabbed the 36 newspaper off of the desk, and played the tape. It was that evil mayor candidate admitting to everything, every single case. It's because of him and the BMPs. The scumbag then runs off and I have to chase him down. Managing to reach him in the elevator, it feels like we're back at the beginning of the game, the very first level. He threatens me, telling me to leave him alone or else he's going to cut off Tammy's head, the girl we've been treating as our daughter the entire game. Obviously, Jack doesn't take that too well. He pops some spinach and still, I hit this power up, yep, take so much unnecessary damage with it, but after even a lot more fighting, I catch up to the blimp that the scumbag boarded. We're not going to let them hurt Tammy, right? And yes, we were right. This is literally the first level. Holy memories of this place. The only issue, we somewhat died back at the beginning of the game, you know, we fell out of the blimp, so surely we'll remember and not go through that cage this time. Now, upon reaching this big hangar and going up the ladder, I shot the target in the distance and swung over. Then ran along some walls to this fan that I shot the target of to turn it off and grabbed the final comet. Oh my goodness. Unlocking the 30-second trophy, the prequel. I teabagged out of excitement and went through the Mario pipe, reaching a safe room and then walking into the first puzzle room. When I had to lockpick a door to turn on some power, I said hi to the Germans in here and then breaking the crate in front of this chair, I grabbed the 37th newspaper. Chills running down my spine. I am so close to finishing all of the collectibles. I then continued onwards, as one would in a game, and made it back to the open area where we were yelling at the guy from the beginning of the game, saying he can't hear us, but he can. Once I had an actual tough fight, as the game hates giving you ammo, I nearly died. I then walked to the cage, as there's no other way for me to go. Would you look at that? We fell. And now we're dying again. Doomed to repeat the game. Is that Tammy? That's how we survived at the beginning of the game. This never happened. Canonically, this is all new, but they made it look like we fell. No, Tammy caught us with the plane. God, this game is amazing. The next sequence was incredible. You gotta remember, you're a PI, and we're shooting planes and bombs out of the sky and jumping across planes in the sky. This is incredible. Having the time of my life, this repeated a few times, and then finally Tammy caught us at the end, and then we kind of teleported to the blimp. Like, Tammy told us to jump, but I guess teleporting works too. This is also when Tammy tells us that idiot didn't kidnap her. He kidnapped John, our little buddy. He's going to kill John if we don't make it. Then I arrived at this safe room right before the boss fight, and I had a terrible realization. I missed the last newspaper. It's not gonna be up here, but worry not, Dave. You see, I'm a genius. It's why I'm known as John Mouse. I make separate saves for all levels, and specifically for this one, I made several because I wanted to be safe and make sure I didn't miss anything. So I kept going through my saves until I reached that underbelly storage area, ran to the end, and to the right of the stairs, the 38th newspaper and my 33rd trophy. Extra, extra. Now, I could have loaded the save back to the boss fight to save myself like 15 minutes of gameplay, but I couldn't bring myself to it. I want that true 100%, having all figurines and collectibles unlocked. So I made it back to the boss room for the final fight. This entire thing is actually crazy. I believe there's about 4 stages to this thing, and I don't know if there's any checkpoints. You'll find out why. In the beginning, I need to shoot out these mouth cannons on the TVs. Then Sawyer's big goon will jump down and try to fight me once. Took down half of his health and he runs away. Then I need to take down more of those mouth cannon TVs while dodging lasers and rockets. It's full mayhem at this point. It gets better, don't worry. Then I have to fight the big goon while little goons spawn in a circle around me, constantly dealing damage, while Sawyer launches missiles at me. Once I finally kill the big goon, don't worry, it gets even better. Sawyer is now a giant and shooting missiles at me while his little goons constantly, non-stop, no breathing room at all, come at him. I have to dodge and kill everything in this room. It's full hectic mayhem. I'm dead silent, trying my absolute hardest to not die, while still on the hardest difficulty in the game. Haven't died once at this point. Don't know if there's a checkpoint at all. I then, at the end, stop focusing on the enemies because get this, you can't heal. Your cheese health packs won't work. Like, the game won't let you use them. Instead, you have to kill enemies and hope they drop cheese for you to use and heal. However, if you do what I did and focus on Sawyer, he'll kill his men and you could just randomly pick him up without looking. This was one of the craziest boss fights I've ever done. In the end, in one life, no retries at all, I killed him on the hardest difficulty. He then smashes his console and falls down. I punch him left and right, knocking his pants down, pause, and Sawyer is done. I kill the leader of the German soldiers. And still, the guy looks like Walt Disney to me. I don't know, he just does. Now, to save John. I let the poor man down, and he asked if it was all over, if we won. Which, technically yes, but we're still on the blimp. John saw some evac planes back in the hangar when they were first bringing him on, but the screen cuts to black and the cutscene plays. I then unlocked the 34th trophy, Tip of the Cheeseburg, and there we have it, the 35th trophy, the Platinum Falcon. My third ever Platinum trophy I've ever unlocked, and this raised my trophy milestone. Nice. Oh my goodness, what a fantastic, amazing game. The cutscene plane says that they might have peace for a handful of days, but Jack doesn't believe everything is over. Something is on the horizon. He was going to rest finally, but who is he kidding? He loves this life. Kind of hinting at the future DLC coming, which I'm looking forward to. And there we have it. My third ever Platinum, a gorgeous list of games being 100% done, and this Platinum, at the time of me unlocking it, only 0.4% of players have unlocked. Like, what a nice feeling. I hope you guys enjoyed the movie. I tried to make it not too long, aiming for those 90-minute marks. There was so much to this game and story that I didn't want to cut too much out. You know, it's why I skimmed it at the end. But if you guys enjoyed, it would mean a lot to me if you'd subscribe. It helps me out a ton to make more movies just like this one, and if I reach 1.6 million subscribers before 2026 is over, I'll platinum Minecraft. Thank you.